Thanks very much, Mark. And welcome everyone to North London, the Emirates Stadium. Blue skies overhead. Everton on the attack inside the opening minute, but Njai unable to pick out Beto. And Arsenal scramble the ball away. Every passing week, every game now brings Arsenal one step closer to potential glory, not just the chance of a first Premier League title in 22 years, but into the quarter-finals of the FA Cup, the last 16 of the Champions League, the League Cup final. Mikel Arteta has got a very busy schedule, but interestingly, Pat Nevin, in the opening minute here, a problem, and a potentially big one. Declan Rice down hurt.
I've managed just to see a little replay of it, and I thought he'd maybe twisted his ankle, a little bit of strapping down there, but I haven't had a second look at it. He's just had his foot trodden on. He'll recover, he'll be okay. It did look bad because, in simple terms, Declan Rice does not go down unless he's injured. So yeah, sore one, but not deliberate.
Yes, injuries which have derailed previous Arsenal title surges. You'll remember a few years back, William Saliba missed the final third of the campaign and Arsenal really collapsed without him. Not that they don't have important players absent at the moment. The likes of Martin Odegaard, Mikel Merino haven't been involved with any sort of regularity in recent weeks, and yet this appears to be a stronger, more depth-filled Arsenal squad. And you would think even if they were to lose Declan Rice, it mightn't have that sort of catastrophic consequence that Arsenal have suffered in the past. We're underway here, Arsenal playing from left to right as we look down. Arsenal in their red shirts, white shorts, red socks, playing from left to right. Everton all in blue. And Everton were without their two first-choice central defenders, no Branthwaite, no Tarkowski. What impact is that going to have in the game? I'll give you a full rundown of the teams in full in just a moment, but we were wondering ahead of kick-off whether Saka, Madueke, which wing would they play, Pat? It looks like Saka is starting on the right.
Well, I was wondering, because I thought Saka would play left. Purely because you've got Garner, who's right full-back over there for Everton. He does a good job there, but he's not an actual right full-back, and if you're a winger, that's what you want, somebody who doesn't know the position inside out. But Madueke's going to have the first chance to go. Having said that, Everton have started well.
They have started well. This, I mean, very much Six Nations final weekend of the Championship. What has become very in vogue recently, and you've seen this in so many matches, this new style of kicking off, which is very rugby-esque, where teams just punted forward almost for territory, and they played basically a Gary Owen kick, you'd call it in rugby, and up and under into the Arsenal penalty area right from the kickoff, and it did unsettle Gabriel.
Did you really say new style?
Well,
it's
here we go.
ancient.
You're going to tell me back in the 80s, Pat used to do this.
Ancient. It's the oldest one.
Well, it is recently back in vogue,
yeah,
Pat.
exactly.
It's like baggy jeans. You know, they come around every couple of decades.
Long throws, corner kicks, put it in the mixer, and lump it forward early. Yeah. So yeah. And then it kind of, if it works, it works. And the thinking is, if you play this ball into the corner early, or it always was, pure psychology. If you start the first 5 minutes or so a game in the opponent's half, it psychologically puts them slightly on the back foot, and it always used to be used, but it's not been for a while. Everyone's taking it on board now, and it will last at least a couple more weeks.
Yes, I'm a big believer of getting it forward. I mean, I love the Real Madrid goals against City in midweek. Just be direct, get the ball forward. So much possession football can become tedious at times. But anyway, Arsenal have the ball at the moment. Timber back to the halfway line. Zubimendi here to Saliba. And Arsenal, who haven't yet been anywhere near Jordan Pickford's penalty area, away to our right-hand side in these opening 4 minutes. Rice has been able to shrug off that early trot on his foot. Calafiori, who's starting at left-back today, gives it up to Madueke. Calafiori, who's only had one start in Arsenal's last 13 Premier League games, but he's in preferred to Hincapié today. Plays a ball low to the feet of Madueke, tries to help it on to Eze, who is fouled, and that is a free kick to Arsenal, and they take it quickly, and a 1-2 into the area, and Kai Havertz unable to get on the end of it as Jake O'Brien clears away. Attacking throw into Arsenal down the left-hand side, 0-0.
Quick movement there from Arsenal going through the centre. I mean, Eze, who's been up and down this season, probably no fault of his own because he's not got enough football, but playing it into there, got the free kick, that could have been a shot, it was about 27, 28 yards out, but then again Declan Rice is hobbling at the moment, so it would have to have been probably Eze himself. Anyway, they've got a long throw out of it.
Which Calafiore will take, and he arches his back and he swings it into the 6-yard box, and under pressure Jake O'Brien has only been able to hoof it straight up into the air, and Everton haven't got this away yet. Beto hits the deck, he was hoping to get a free kick. Referee says no. Calafiore shields it by the end line, and the ball does go out for a corner kick. So corner kick to Arsenal, and you know, these are box office, and so much has been said about how few goals Arsenal are scoring from open play this season. I don't think any Arsenal fan in here cares at all. For so many of them, corner kicks is what they've come to see. This one's taken short. Madueke, chance to shoot. Pickford makes the save. Everton, who were ready for it to be played into the 6-yard box, were all sitting deep, and they weren't expecting the short corner, and Arsenal managed to get a shot away, but Jordan Pickford has made the first big save of the afternoon. Arsenal 0, Everton 0 on 5 Live.
Good thinking by Arsenal there, because Everton were all set up, all 11 players inside the box, most of them inside the 6-yard box.
Here come Arsenal, bright opening to the game. Timber's pass is weak, and McNeil is able to intercept, and he touches it back to Jordan Pickford, who's making his 350th appearance for Everton today. The England goalkeeper goes long down the left wing. Good accurate distribution to pick out Njai, and Everton's number 10 gives it into the feet of Beto. He's about 10 yards outside the penalty area, tries to play it out to McNeil, but Madueke was back covering, makes the interception and wins possession back for Arsenal. So here are the teams. David Raya in goal for the home side. Back four, Timbers, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiore. In midfield, it's Zubimendi alongside Rice. Then it's Madueke and Saka either side of Eze, with Kai Havertz up front. Arsenal have won all 4 games that Kai Havertz has started for them in all competitions this season. For Everton, Pickford plays behind a back four of Garner, O'Brien, Keane and Mikalenko. In midfield, it's Irabunum alongside Gay. Then McNeil and Njai, with Dewsbury Hall through the centre and Beto leading the visitors' attack. Everton, who've been good away from home lately, just 1 defeat in their last 10 away from Merseyside in the Premier League. Gabriel here brings it up to the halfway line, gives the ball short to Zubimendi. Low to the feet of William Saliba with the bright yellow boots, and then he picks out Bukayo Saka. Saka's early ball into the box, looking for Kai Havertz. Good covering back though by Irabunum, who got in ahead of the German. He's now controlling the ball near the corner flag. He could do with a bit of support here. Mikalenko comes to help out. Saka tries to close him down. Everton have given it away, have they? Inside their final third they have. Saka gets it back. Havertz now, back to Saliba. Calafiore, rapid fast passing from Arsenal. Calafiore urged to shoot. He does. It's blocked by Idrissa Gueye, and it goes out for the second corner of the game. Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
A slight more directness about Arsenal here, you know, talking about, you know, overpassing sometimes, manufacturing situations so you can get free kicks and throw-ins. It's kind of not been like that. This is their third, I think, corner kick so far, but they've been trying to play much quicker, you know, through the phases, and particularly in the last third of the field, and looking really sharp at the start of this game, Arsenal.
The last one was played short. This time seems the regular routine. Cluster of players at the back post, played in swinger by Declan Rice, headed out by Beto, only as far as Eze on the edge of the area. He quickly gives it back out to Declan Rice on the left hand side. Everton aren't pushing out here because they know this is coming straight back at them. Eze plays it in, Gabriel is up there, there's a bit of space for Zubimendi. Calafiore over the top, lovely control by Zubimendi to tee it up for Calafiore, and that is now 2 attempts at goal from the Italian defender. But this one, mercifully for Everton, goes over the crossbar and off target.
Well, you can have a look at David Moyes down there. He's immediately in his technical area saying the ball goes out from the corner and it's going to get slung in again. Why is Gabriel being marked by Njai? The last person in the world you want to mark Gabriel, who's so good in the air there, and immediately out trying to adapt to play a little bit there, because you can't make those sort of mistakes against Arsenal.
It's fun. We see those mismatches quite a lot lately. It's almost like who you mark is more about how you shield them rather than any sense of jumping in the air with them.
Yeah, but there are limits.
Yes, exactly.
And a giant against Gabriel, who actually is so fabulous against just about any player. He managed to do just about enough though.
Right, 2 games at 5:30 kickoffs this evening in the Premier League. The other is across London at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Newcastle underway in front of John Southall.
Where it is Chelsea 0, Newcastle 0. First chance of the game though for Chelsea. Corner on the right hand side there was Fofana 10 yards out, stretching every sinew to get the header on, and it was over the crossbar. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 0.
This is Madueke on the left wing for Arsenal. He's up against Dwight McNeil. Garner lurking in behind, so they're doubling up on the wingers. Zubimendi a bit more space in the centre as a result, and then Saliba gives it to the right wing for Arsenal, and Bukayo Saka, who's about 10 yards outside the penalty area, gives it into the feet of Zubimendi again. Arsenal here hovering on the periphery of the visitors' box. Madueke gets it, makes a little surge for the byline. Dangerous low ball in. It's attacked by Zubimendi, tries to get the low shot in. Too many bodies in the way. Saka swivels and shoots, but he swiveled a bit too much. And in the end, the shot goes a couple of yards off target on the right-hand side. But good pressure from Arsenal and warm applause around the Emirates Stadium. 0-0 with 10 minutes play.
Well, it was about 2 minutes at the start of the game. Everton got the ball up high up the pitch and chased it down from that kick-off. However, since then, Arsenal completely take over, very, very dominant looking. I think more than anyone else, it's Madueke on that left-hand side, up against Garner. He's got by him twice, and every time he gets the ball, he just wants to go and attack that player. And right now, if I was Everton, I would be saying to Dwight McNeil on that right-hand side, give your full-back some help.
So much made of Mikel Arteta and working under Pep Guardiola and how much he learned from the Spaniard. But in his playing days, a lot of his formative exposure to managerial methods was under David Moyes. There was a big hug between David Moyes and Mikel Arteta as the teams came out. But there's no doubt that Arteta, who every game he played for Everton was under David Moyes, did learn a lot of today's opposition coach in the past. Moyes, who's got a raincoat on down there, he's standing on the edge of the technical area despite there being very much blue skies overhead here in North London. It's nice to have a game of football, Pat, with sun shining and blue skies. I'm not quite sure when the last time I've experienced this.
Absolutely stunning to see it, and it is a lovely evening here up in North London. It's a perfect day for a game of football, so no excuses whatsoever for the players.
Absolutely. Havertz gives the ball into Zubimendi midway inside Everton territory. Calafiori, who's been playing like a winger since kick-off, is up there supporting Madueke. 15 yards or so for the byline, pulls it back to Declan Rice, urged to shoot. Now Saliba urged to shoot more centrally. 10 men behind the ball for Everton. They've left Beto up, but everyone else is back in defence as Madueke has it on the left-hand side. Back to Declan Rice again, has a look, weighing up the options, spins it in, Saka's header, what a save from Pickford. Well, it wouldn't have counted. Bukayo Saka was offside, the flag has been raised, but that's a world-class stop from Pickford. How did he keep that out?
You are not exaggerating. That is incredible. You have no right to get down to that. Saka came in late and it was deflected onto Saka. He's headed it down back to where goalkeeper Pickford was coming. Now, it is absolutely offside. The referee gets it right, but how he gets it, I mean, it's exactly what you should do with a header. Back to where it comes from, with pace, low down. You have no right to get there from 3 yards away from him. Yeah. That is brilliant.
Sensational save from Jordan Pickford. This is his 350th appearance for the club. Today he's looking for his 100th clean sheet for Everton. And if he gets it, that particular moment wouldn't have counted anyway. Saka was offside, but he almost deserves the clean sheet for that stop on his own. Everton's last away game was against Newcastle. You might remember Pickford made a marvellous save in that game to deny Sandro Tonali, and he said after the match that was the best save he'd ever made in his career, for club or for country. Let's go back to Stamford Bridge. John Southall.
Another Chelsea chance. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 0. Cole Palmer on the right of the area. His shot wide, the left-hand post, just waiting for the net to bulge. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 0.
Earlier on today, Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0 was our 3 p.m. kickoff on 5 Live. To quote Leon Osman, the best thing about that game is that it is over. There was only 2 kickoffs at 3 o'clock today in the Premier League. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1 was the other one. Brighton move up to 10th place in the table. So Arsenal 0, Everton 0 here. We've just heard from John Southall at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Newcastle. Later on this evening, West Ham United against Manchester City. Will Mikel Arteta's team have extended their already 7-point lead over Pep Guardiola by the time that game kicks off at London Stadium later on? Free kick to Everton here. Pickford takes it from inside his own half, launches it towards the Arsenal penalty area where it looks like it's going to fizzle on a play. No, Calafiori decided to keep it in, and he's quite fortunate because it wasn't a good clearance, but Everton missed it, and now the chance of a counter-attack. Madueke, great speed up against Michael Keane, but it was speed against strength, and Keane was able to hold his ground and yet still barrel Madueke out of the way as Eze tries a shot from distance, and it goes well wide. The boos in the background because Madueke is still down. Arsenal fans felt that he was fouled there. Michael Keane will say he just anchored himself into the turf.
I cannot see. Well, we're a distance away from it here, but in first viewing there, that's the defender just being strong. It is a 50-50 ball. He gets a little touch in Madueke, but he runs into the defender for me. The referee's got that spot on. He's been put under pressure by the Arsenal fans, but that's what the Arsenal fans should be doing right now. As much pressure as possible, get behind the team as much as possible, but they're not changing the referee. He's got that one spot on.
Over on Sports Extra 3, they'll be getting ready for the second half of Wales against Italy. Wales leading Italy by 21 points to 0 at half-time. Wales desperately in need of a victory. You can watch that game on BBC One. I'll be mentioning a lot in Pat's presence today that Ireland beat Scotland 43-21 earlier on today to win the Triple Crown, and later on this evening France against England. You can listen to that on 5 Live at 8:10.
Considering when Scotland beat England, I never shut up about it. I suppose I have to shut up now. To be interesting what happened down in the pitch. There's a little bit of a tactical change by David Moyes. I think he must be a little bit worried about Eze, he's only had 1 or 2 little touches, but he's found good space, and I think he's changed it and asked Gay to go and mark him as much as possible and give Ariel Burnham a little bit more of a chance to go a tiny bit further forward.
16 minutes played, 5 Live, BBC Sounds, tea-time kick-off in the Premier League. 0-0 between Arsenal and Everton. Mikolenko, the Ukrainian, has possession at left-back for Everton, tries to play it towards Beto. It seemed to bounce slightly awkwardly in front of Saliba. He had to react twice there to that, but he takes no chances, heads the ball out of play. Throw into Everton down the left-hand side.
It's a tough gig for Beto, isn't it? There's a big distance usually between him and the rest of his team. The ball's played up, and he's often 1 against 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4.
Calafiori will often come in as a third central defender. Here come Everton down the left. Njai's cross is good, and Raya's given it straight to McNeil, and the attempted shot is blocked, and then Irabunum trying to follow up and cleared away by Calafiori, who I think might have made the first block as well. Well, that was really good from Njai. It was a wicked cross, and it presented a shooting opportunity for McNeil, but too many bodies in the way, and here comes Dwight McNeil again. There's an Arsenal player down. McNeil shoots, and it comes back off the post, and Njai following it puts it wide. Well, I think Njai might have been offside anyway, but the McNeil shot would have counted. It's come back off the post. Jurien Timber is the Arsenal player down injured. I'll tell you, there would have been blue murder had that gone in, and Arsenal would have complained, but it's not a head injury. The referee was able to, I don't think it's a head injury, referee was able to play on, and Dwight McNeil, you cannot come any closer than that to giving Everton the lead.
Well, a couple of things. I mean, he hits the post here, but just before that, seconds before that, he's had the best opportunity of the game, and then he has a better one just after. I mean, brilliant play by McNeil, who I think is having his best period for Everton Football Club right now. I think he's playing really well. The fact that he went past, I think, was it Calafiori? I'm not sure who he went past to go and get in. In fact, it might have even been Declan Rice. But he's had 2 really good chances there, McNeil. Did everything right. The first one, half volleyed. Again, we've seen it twice. It's hard to see whether it's the keeper or whether it was Calafiori there. Calafiori is actually on the ground.
It was Calafiori making the block just in front of David Raya. Arsenal 0, Everton 0 here. Meanwhile, at Stamford Bridge, John.
Newcastle have the lead, Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. Really good goal on the counter-attack. Lovely through ball from Livramento to Joe Willock. He squared it to Anthony Gordon 4 yards out, and he finished it off. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
It is looking like Wales Day at the Principality. Molly Stevens.
Whereas Wales 28 to Italy 0, and it's the bonus point try for Wales. They've come out as strong as they finished the first half. Dan Edwards scores and adds the afters. Wales 28, Italy 0.
Thank you very much, Molly. We still have a hold-up in play here. Timber's been receiving treatment ever since that McNeil shot was cannoned back off the woodwork. And Everton, who started well in the opening minute or 2 of the game, then Arsenal had a good period, a flurry of chances, a couple of quarters in quick succession. But Everton have come here in the mood that shows us all why their away form of the Premier League has been so impressive lately.
Absolutely nailed it. That's it, in a nutshell, what Everton do. Remember, about 2 minutes ago, every single player was inside their own box. Beto had probably, he probably forgot what his teammates looked like. They were so far away from him. And then what happens when they break? They get numbers up there, and Jai looks fabulous at the moment. He's gone by Timber, who's not enjoying his game against Njai so far. And as I say, Dwight McNeil, the best I've seen him play in his time at Everton, had 2 brilliant chances, and absolutely no fault of his that neither of them went in.
Yeah, having received treatment, Timber, of course, must leave the field now. So Arsenal temporarily with 10 men. Zubimendi is covering right back while Timber waits for the invitation to come back onto the field. Iliman Njai, whose dribbling stats are very, very impressive. Only Jeremy Doku has completed more dribbles in the Premier League this season, and that's why he's been giving Timber such a torrid time. He's in possession again, Njai. This time Saliba comes crunching into the back of it. Arsenal regained possession. Declan Rice on the halfway line, scoreless in North London. Rice encourages Calafiori to come forward on the left-hand side. There's a slip by Dwight McNeil, so Calafiori keeps moving forward. Gives it to Zubimendi on the right-hand side. Now the ball is played to Saka, who's level with the edge of the penalty area that Arsenal are attacking. Timber is back on the field. Arsenal are back to 11 players. Saliba to Kai Havertz. This is all neat and tidy and intricate on the edge of the area, and then Timber gives a pass behind Saka. You heard a few drones, but Arsenal didn't lose possession. They hold on to it. It's back to the centre circle again, and back to Gabriel, who's got Saliba available on the right-hand side. And in possession, it's like a back three at the moment with Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori, and Timber moves right up. He's even further ahead than Saka.
But why is Timber doing that? He's killing all the space that Saka would want to work in. If I'm a winger there, the last thing I want is him to do that, kill my space, because there's too many bodies in the way.
Cross from Saliba is high. It looks to be too high. Madueke's going to try and keep it in play, but the ball went out before Madueke brought it back in again. We're almost midway through the first half here. Arsenal in the opening 15 minutes had 7 shots, but it is still 0-0 here.
But because of those 2 opportunities that Everton had, you can feel that nervousness again, can't you? I mean, there was a real excitement. The fans are getting behind Arsenal, but they realise now, you know, that it's going to be on the edge. No one expected this to be, you know, a high-scoring game that Everton are going to lose. They're not like that. They're not that sort of team just now. Everton are very difficult to break down. So far, there's more nervousness than celebration, even though Arsenal are 7 points clear.
It's a strange atmosphere. It's an intriguing atmosphere when you come here. There is that post-traumatic stress disorder from the previous campaigns and coming so close and having leads in Premier League pursuits being squandered. And yet Arsenal, though, they're so close, not just to success, but to big glory. 22 years since they last won the Premier League title. Let's go back to Cardiff, back to Molly Stevens.
Well, Wales are doing whatever they can to add confidence and add points. Dan Edwards with a drop goal from 40 metres, extending Wales' lead, 31 points to 0 against Italy.
Thanks very much, Molly, here at the Emirates. Arsenal 0, Everton 0 in the Premier League. And Everton have got themselves a throw-in midway into Arsenal territory on the left-hand side. Mikalenko takes it to Dewsbury Hall, and then Everton back into their 2 stand-in centre-halves, if you like, in the absence of Branthwaite and Tarkowski. Michael Keane alongside Jake O'Brien today. They've given up possession. Here come Arsenal again. Ebeeze, bit of room to operate. Plays a glorious ball to Havertz. Down he goes in the penalty area, and the referee, Andy Madley, immediately was shaking his head and saying that's not a spot kick. The video assistant referee will, of course, look at this in the aftermath, but Andy Madley is getting the boos here. Arsenal wanted a penalty.
I honestly think Havertz, see, there is contact, but I think Havertz, his foot goes out and makes the contact. I think he initiates it, but not deliberately. You know, he's going towards the player, and I don't think that's a clear and obvious mistake by the referee. So yes, they'll be looking at it, but it doesn't look to me like a clear and obvious mistake that he's made there.
Yeah, and I totally know what you mean, Pat, because often when you know an opponent's coming in, you've got to lean a bit that way. Yeah. You've got to be bracing yourself for the impact. So sometimes it looks like, oh, he's creating the contact, but in some respects there, Havertz is trying to shield himself.
I'll be the first in the world to tell you if a player's deliberately doing it to gain an advantage and basically cheating. That's not what Kai Havertz was doing there. That was 2 players going for the ball. However, he felt the contact, and that's why, and he's come from a slightly unusual angle, that's why he thinks he should get a penalty kick.
Right, well, look, the video assistant referee would have looked at the replays in the background. We haven't heard any change in opinion from them. Still Arsenal 0, Everton 0 here. Back to Chelsea, Newcastle and John Southall.
We've just seen a Newcastle free kick on the left-hand side from Lewis Hall, met by Melik Chow at the back post. He headed over the bar. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
Timber in possession here for Arsenal on the edge of the Everton penalty area. Pat and Evan.
Oh, that's an incredible score down at Chelsea, considering what happened to them over in Paris, where I thought they actually played well and ended up getting thumped. And if they don't win this one today, there's a great chance for Liverpool.
Saka, edge of the box, very little room to manoeuvre. Gives it to Havertz outside him on the right. Havertz by the byline, attempts to cross, comes off Mykolenko, who almost turns and gives an apologetic shrug to his teammates because he's deflected that and put it out for a corner, which is probably exactly what Everton don't want to give Arsenal.
By the way, they're still asking the referee, you're looking at that penalty because is this the first time the ball's gone out of place since? The referee's put his finger to his ear, but I don't think they're hoping for a great deal there. Although, let's have a look. He's telling them to go away. They're not liking it, but the referee's not ignoring them. I think the referee's got that. I mean, some people would say there is contact, so there must be a foul. That's not always the case.
So Arsenal don't get a penalty, but they do have what can often be, for this team, the next best thing. A corner kick, and Arsenal exert their set-piece supremacy as they have been doing all season. Saka's going to take this one from the right-hand side. Swings it in, Calafiori, but there's pushing. Someone pushed Kieran Dewsbury Hall. He's down on his backside. And the referee, even before the ball had come into the penalty area there, had blown his whistle to give the free kick to Everton.
It is impossible for the referee, isn't it? There are so many players jostling, pushing, grabbing, pulling all the way through there. And Dewsbury Hall was pushed 3 times before he eventually waited for the 3rd time as the ball was coming in and just fell to the floor. He was pushed, but he knew exactly what it was doing.
Let's go back to Wales against Italy in the Six Nations and back to Molly Stevens.
Well, it's taken 52 minutes, but Italy have points on the board. A try from Di Bartolomeo and Paolo Gabisi scores the afters, 31 points to 7.
Everton on the attack. Idrissa Gueye into the penalty area, left-hand side, flashes across, which goes through everyone, squirts out the other side. James Garner's going to try and keep it in play. Everton hold on to possession, but they're back towards the halfway line again.
Brilliant piece of play by Dewsbury Hall on the left-hand side. Little nutmeg through Saliba's legs to play the pass down to that left-hand side. And Everton do look slick in that final third. When they do go up the field, which isn't very often, they look very, very dangerous.
Everton have only failed to score in one of their last 11 Premier League games. They didn't score against Manchester United, but otherwise, the last couple of months, David Moyes' team scoring against everyone they come up against. Will they score away at the Emirates today? Idrissa Gueye has possession on the halfway line. Everton playing from right to left as we look down. Good noise inside the Emirates. Jake O'Brien out to the right wing to Dwight McNeil, who, if you're just joining our coverage here on 5 Live, has hit the woodwork of the game. Lovely left-footed shot, curling, bending, coming back off the post with David Raya at full stretch.
I mean, I've not looked at the stats, but I'm pretty sure that Arsenal have got a lot more of the possession. However, by some distance, the best 2 chances have fallen to Everton.
Yeah, it's not how many chances you get, and you look at the games that Everton have won this season. Invariably they've had fewer chances, they've had less possession in those games, but it's about taking the opportunities when it comes your way, and David Moyes will just be hoping if a big one lands for Beto that he'll find the back of the net with it today.
He's actually played quite well when he's held the ball up quite well, and he's very, very game. And it's one of the things about David Moyes' teams generally, but this one specifically. Every player will run themselves out of the ground until they have nothing left. If you don't do that for David Moyes and this team, you're not getting a game.
Here comes Declan Rice, good control, brings the ball over the halfway line, but Irabunum is able to just nudge the ball away from him. It's fallen kindly to Saka, back to Declan Rice into the penalty area. Garner's challenge, Rice ended up on the deck. Some Arsenal fans more than the player himself screaming for a penalty. Everton clear it away, and the on-field decision is to play on. Then there's a collision between Njai and Gabriel, and the free kick here is going to be given to Arsenal, and as you can imagine, Iliman Njai is disputing that call.
What was happening is Njai was making a beeline for the ball, but certainly a defender as clever as the one he was against was always going to run across him. Ran across him, and Njai thought, all right, I'll just run straight into you. Njai knew exactly what he was doing there.
I'm sure we've plenty of Manchester City fans tuned our way, many of them perhaps on their way to London Stadium, where City take on West Ham in the 8 o'clock kickoff later on tonight, and City will be urging Everton to disrupt Arsenal's title surge here and to keep things interesting at the top of the Premier League table from a City point of view. Pep Guardiola, and I'm sure it's mind games, Pat, but said in the press conference yesterday, if City don't win today, he says it's over. Title race is over.
It's an odd thing to say, because you should say that about other teams, not your own team.
Yeah, yes.
You know, unless he's trying to put pressure on his own players to make sure they're up for it. But they should be anyway.
Double bluff, double jeopardy, I think, from Pep Guardiola. Timber his position on the halfway line here for Arsenal. 0-0 with a half an hour played in North London. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Declan Rice brings the ball into Everton territory. Back over to Timber on the right-hand side. Kai Havertz playing in a right-wing position just to the moment. Saka in field of him. Ball played back to Saliba. Now Declan Rice again in a more central location, a good 10-12 yards outside the penalty area. Eze takes it off him, tries a shot from distance, and it actually hits his teammate. It comes off Zubimendi, so that deflects away and out for a goal kick to Everton, still 0-0. Back to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea, Newcastle, John Southall.
Where it still remains Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. Chelsea just labouring going forward. Cole Palmer got himself into a really good position on the right of the penalty area, but a weak finish. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
We're seeing that Chelsea have changed goalkeeper again today. That is the 5th time in 5 games that Chelsea have rotated the keeper, which is becoming a pattern for Liam Rossini. Here come Everton, away at Arsenal here on 5 Live. Dewsbury Hall to Garner on the right-hand side, low ball to the feet of Irabunum on the edge of the box. Back to Kiernan Dewsbury, who shoots, and Raya reacts so well. Well, he was just outside the penalty area. It was quite long range, but that's a thunderous shot from Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, and David Raya gets down to make a very important save for Arsenal.
Just looks slightly too easy for Everton getting in shooting positions, and Dewsbury Hall there just drops the shoulder, and everything opens up for him. Everton at this point in time they look so good going forward when they get these chances. There's such a confidence in that last third, and they're all doing their own thing and going by players. It's they're enjoyable to me watching attacking. 0-0,
Everton on the attack. Enjoys cross from the left-hand side. Eze should be able to clear here, but his clearance goes straight to Michael Keane. Everton would love to stay on the attack here. Enjoy jumps. He goes down holding his head, trying to impress on the referee that he was fouled there. And there are actually 2 Everton players down. Beto's down as well. Both of them holding their head, and this frustrates Arsenal, but the referee doesn't have a choice here. He is obliged to hold up play because 2 players down, intimating head injuries.
Well, I think Dewsbury Hall certainly did get a little elbow or nudge in the back of his head. He's been asked by the referee to go off. You know, no, he's not had any. You know,
no, but unless there was a
injury,
blood or something like that, that would be a reason.
I can't be blood there. It was a little nudge in the back of his head. There's no way that is the case. Oh well, if he stopped the game for a head injury,
yeah.
And to be honest, I'm all for that, because I can't tell you if it's the case on this occasion, but players do go down too easily with inverted commas head injuries. A lot of players do. So feigning a head injury gets no sympathy from me whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, Everton are down to 10 men here temporarily. I'm not sure if...
Can I underline, not feigning a head injury, feigning the seriousness of a head injury, which is a different thing.
Well, it's a really difficult one, and I've huge empathy for the officials here, because how can you judge if someone is, you know, if they go down holding their head, you've got to take it at face value. The one time where someone gets a really serious injury, they're going to need that attention immediately. Saka on the attack for Arsenal, edge of the Everton penalty area, pulls it back for Declan Rice, didn't quite fall into his stride that he could crack a shot there, but he's held on to possession, gives it back to Bukayo Saka, challenged by Idrissa Gueye and fouled, and this is a free kick within shooting range for Arsenal. It's about 5-6 yards outside the penalty area that they attack, and Everton are going to have to bring everyone back to defend this. Attacking set piece for Arsenal with 12 minutes to go to half-time in North London.
There's quite a few who fancy it from there. You can see the 3 or 4 that I have to say my money would be on Eze. We've certainly seen Declan Rice score from these sort of positions as well. But Eze, he really fancies it just now. He's not got a lot of the ball. But one of the big things, the different thing, when the front 3/front 4 of Arsenal get the ball, they're not taking chances. They're not kind of really open with their play. They're not, you know, you need to take risks in that final third, because it won't come off all the time, but, you know, do that. Be allowed that level of freedom. You compare that with the Everton forwards. They're all having a dig. They're all having a go. They're all doing exactly what they like when they're in that final space. And I think the freedom has certainly been so far with the Everton players, but it'll mean nothing if Eze or Declan Rice puts it in the top corner here.
Everton erecting a very substantial wall here, draft excluder. There's 5, maybe 6 of them in the wall. This is slightly right of centre. Arsenal, who have scored more goals from set pieces in the Premier League this season than any other team, and no team has conceded fewer set pieces than Everton. Declan Rice has got that determined look in his face. He might still clip this as a cross, but it really looks like he's going to shoot. Pickford standing guarding the right-hand side of his goal as he looks out. Rice clips it into the wall. It falls for Calafiore. It should be cleared by Jacob Bryan. It eventually is cleared by Dwight McNeil. Rice tries to pump it back in. Jacob Bryan jumps and wins a header on that. He had a crack there, Declan Rice, but he put it straight into the wall.
Quite surprised it was Declan Rice, because 3 or 4 yards further out, you think, yeah, that's Declan's position. You know, he gets the power, can get it up and down from there. But for the really delicate stuff, you were thinking Eze would be more suited to it. I suspect Eze may take the next one, which it has, however, lifted Arsenal a little bit.
Eze, who scored against Everton for Crystal Palace in the past. Zubimendi has possession here. 9.5 minutes to go until half-time. Arsenal, at the moment, feel they have to win every game. They want to keep that pressure up on Manchester City. And at the moment, they are seeking a breakthrough against a very hard-working Everton side. Saliba has possession. All outfield players in the Everton half here. Saka has it on the right-hand side. He's got Njai and Mikalenko up ahead of him. Rolls it back to Saliba. Into a more central position here to Gabriel. Across to the left-hand side to Calafiore, midway inside Everton territory. Runs closer to the penalty area. Gives it back to Saliba. To the right wing again to Saka. Njai sticking to him like glue. Saka spins around 180 degrees, takes on Mikalenko, nutmeg works, tries to clip it back, but Idrissa Gueye came across, and out it goes for a corner. That was almost electric from Bukayo Saka.
It's like an electric eel. He went past players there, 2 players on him, and Jai was close to him. Obviously he's got a full back to beat as well. Manages to get past both of them, and the reason why, well, Timber was nowhere near him. He hadn't gone up. I'll tell you what, I'm guessing Timber's going to be nowhere near him for the rest of the game, because there's that Julian Timber coming off now.
Yes, it is a forced change here. Julian Timber, who was down receiving treatment earlier, seems to be holding his groin area as he leaves the field. Christian Mosquera, the Spaniard, is going to come on, who's come on to cover right back at various stages in recent games lately. But the Spaniard comes on in place of Timber, and it certainly won't do Arsenal any harm in terms of height and defending and attacking set pieces, but Timber has been a very important player for Mikel Arteta this season, and that is something that could develop into a setback for Mikel Arteta today. An enforced change here ahead of half-time.
Very intrigued to see. I mean, you're absolutely right. His power and his physique and corner kicks will add a great deal, even more than Timber gives him up there. But 1-on-1s against Njai out wide.
Yeah, Njai will be very much relishing getting at Mosquera. But first things first, Everton have to defend a corner. Mosquera's gone in to lend his height to the Arsenal attack. Saka to take it from the right-hand side, clipped in towards the front post. Great flick on by Calafiore, but it just couldn't be turned into the back post. There was 2 Arsenal players there. They couldn't leap high enough to tap it in. Dangerous set-piece delivery again from Bukayo Saka, but Everton survived. Still 0-0.
You know, talk about all the sophistication of corner kicks. That, again, the oldest one in the book. Just get a guy to come late to the front post and flick it onto the back post. Nothing more to it than that. But the ball needs to be perfect, and it's a delicious ball. Lots and lots of pace, and Arsenal are inches away from putting that into the back of the net.
Fast-paced game this Saturday tea time on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 0-0 between Arsenal and Everton. Declan Rice rolls the ball back to Gabriel. He's about 15 yards inside Everton territory. Now Eze picks it up on the edge of the box that Arsenal are attacking. Eze with the bright yellow boots. Declan Rice gives it out to the left-hand side to Madueke. 2 players immediately come over to shield in front of him. Arsenal have got plenty of possession outside the Everton penalty area, but David Moyes' team making it very difficult for Arsenal to break into the box. Saka tries to cross on the right-hand side. That's been blocked. Chance of a counter-attack here. Iliman Njai. Saka having a few nibbles. Doesn't want to foul him. Njai pushes it ahead of Beto. Beto in a sprint with Saliba. Saliba gets there first and goes down with the barest touch, it appeared there. Free kick to Arsenal as we go straight back to Chelsea. A goal for John gone south though.
No, not a goal, but it's Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. Still, Cole Palmer had the chance just inside the area. His shot pushed away by Ramsdale. Chelsea have a free kick here, 30 yards out. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
Mistake by Garner. Madueke nearly in to shoot, but Jake O'Brien is able to clear the ball away. 0-0 at the Emirates. Arsenal still on the attack. Kai Havertz chests it down on the right hand side. It's a great touch. Zubimendi into the penalty area, pulls it back, but Garner is the best located player and he's able to clear away for Everton. And now Kieran Dewsbury Hall, surrounded by red shirts, has to shuffle it back to Iliman Ndiaye. Everton are still inside their final third, but they have regained control of possession. Pat Neville.
What you're actually looking for is that moment of genius. It doesn't look as if it's going to happen from the corner kicks. Of course, it might still do, but the moment of genius from one of these forward attacking players, it's as likely to be a player in blue as it is red and white.
Here comes Dwight McNeil, shoulder charge from Declan Rice has given us a free kick, and Rice is disgusted with that. And players leaning into each other. There's no kick at his feet or anything from Declan Rice, but Everton obviously happy to take the free kick. Soft though.
Yeah, well, he's got himself in front of the player there, and you know, it's one of those ones where there was a comparable thing happened in the box with Kai Havertz beforehand. You don't get them in the box, but you do get them outside the box.
Same challenge, yeah.
It's exactly the same challenge, and it's grotesquely unfair, but that's the way the games are refereed.
Yeah.
By the way, again, McNeil, he looks much better these days. Real strength about him, real belief about his play. And as I say, Everton, when they're attacking there, remember Everton, just for about 3 years, they go away from home with an inferiority complex. You don't see that here, do you? A real belief about this group.
Yeah, which their current away form would emphasise. Last 10 away games, Everton have a better record than any other Premier League team. Garner takes the free kick. Raya decided he was coming and he missed the punch. Keane is going to try and keep it alive here. Pushed outside the penalty area on the left-hand side. Raya probably had to come for that, but he didn't get a clean connection. And Arsenal relieved the ball had been cleared away. In fact, I think he's got more of Saliba than the ball there. And the referee is going to hold up play to see if Saliba is all right. And you know, that's actually an interesting one. That's one of those you are the ref things, because Saliba is off the field of play. So in theory you would say, well, hang on, why do we need to hold up play here? He's off the field of play. But again, because it's a head injury, they want to make sure that the care and attention is given. So play is halted.
It's not obvious, but Raya's come out there. He's completely missed the ball, but I think he's got him just inside his head with his forearm. Yeah. And it's one of those ones where you're trying to read between the lines here. Is he making too much of it? Absolutely not. And here's why. He didn't roll back on the pitch. Because every player would roll back on the pitch there from a couple of inches off. Well, having said that, as I say that just now,
he's stretching out his leg. But initially, when the referee held up play, I don't think he was on the field of play, to be honest.
He wasn't. I suspect that's the physios of put that Ryan.
David Raya just lifted his boot and sent it off right. Play is going to resume, I think, with an uncontested drop ball near the halfway line. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Entertaining, but no goals yet. Let's go back to the Six Nations. Wales getting their act together late in the championship at home against Italy today. Here's Molly Stevens.
And could the cloud be lifting on Welsh rugby? Wales lead Italy by 31 points to 7. That's the bonus point. And we've just heard that 69,000 are in the Principality Stadium today. A lot more than we've seen in recent years. 31-7.
Thanks very much, Molly. So earlier on, Ireland beat Scotland. It means that Ireland will win the Six Nations if England win in France later on. It's a 8:10 start. You can listen to the game on 5 Live. There'll be much Irish support for the English in that game. Reaction to it all on the BBC Rugby Union podcast, which is daily throughout the championship. 2 minutes remaining in the first half here at the Emirates. Play back underway. Saliba's back on the pitch. Arsenal have possession midway inside Everton territory, and Eze gives it to William Saliba. Right hand side as Arsenal come forward back into a central location to Calafiori. Everton, who've defended with real concentration in this first half. Ball is whipped in and Idrissa Gueye puts it out for a corner again, and that familiar buzz around the Emirates as the team who've scored more corner kicks than anyone else this campaign get another opportunity to do it again.
And what a great lift it would be for Arsenal to get it now. We're about 44 minutes, something like that, to get a goal before half-time. We completely changed the outlook of this game, because at the moment Everton will be going in delighted at half-time, but not if they lose a goal here.
So corners on the left-hand side as Arsenal come forward. Short one up for Declan Rice. Swings it in. Jake O'Brien jumps, falls to Saka, tries to shoot, and Jai is able to block it. Madueke tries to get a shot away, but Irabunum blocks that. And then Eze, with a bit of desperation, tried the third attempt from outside the box, but that skews off the outside of his right boot and goes well wide of Jordan Pickford's goal. So if you're joining our coverage late here, few interesting chances in the game. A Saka header, he would have been offside, but Pickford made a miraculous save. That was early on. Down the other end, McNeil has had a shot that came back off the post. He had another effort that was blocked in front of the goalkeeper by Calafiori, but no goals yet at the Emirates in 5 live.
I'd probably add on top of that, good half a chance for Arsenal from a corner kick, flicked onto the back post where they just couldn't get on the end of it. But I think we've seen there just a few moments ago, the defending from the Everton players there, when the ball was played into the corner, 4 players throwing their bodies in front of it, the willingness to go and make that extra yard and put their bodies on the line and hurt themselves a little bit. It's very, very noticeable. It's horrible to play against that if you're a forward.
Yeah, into stoppages. There's been a few hold-ups, injuries to Timber and to Saliba, and we're going to have 5 minutes added on for stoppages ahead of half-time here.
It's went quickly though, the game, hasn't it? It's been interesting. I mean, it's one of those games, we were chatting about it beforehand, and you said correctly, it kind of doesn't matter if it's 0-0 with 85 minutes. This is still a massive, massive story in this league, and there'll be so much tension. Well, there's tension, you can definitely feel it here, and it's all coming from the Arsenal fans.
If this is 0-0 after 88 minutes, I'll tell you, the Arsenal fans will be on the edge of their seats and biting their fingernails. And I mean, these are the days that you win a title. You find a way to win a match like this. Arsenal, who could push 10 points clear of City before City kick off across London at London Stadium later on tonight, and yet Arsenal know any little slip up, any drop of points here, what a fill-up, what a boost that would be for Pep Guardiola's team going into that nighttime game this evening. You know, we've got, this is what, the 14th of March, Premier League, which goes on till the 24th of May. You've got 9 weeks. There's 9 weeks left, including the international break. And this is absolutely becoming the business end of Arsenal's title surge now, and every point matters. And this is Saliba, midway inside Everton territory, poor pass, gives it away to Idrissa Gueye. Not a great pass to Njai. How is he supposed to control it there? Idrissa Gueye tries to rectify by running close up to Saka, who's strong and able to hold him off. And Zubimendi gives it to Kai Havertz, and back to Zubimendi into the penalty area. Kieran Dewsbury did so well there to get in between the man and the ball, but crucially not foul him in the box. And Everton clear it away, but they can't hold on to it. And Arsenal come again. We've almost played 2 minutes of the 5 being added on for stoppages. Madueke on the edge of the box. Eze tries to scoop, unnecessarily fancy, groans around the stadium as that little spooned movement doesn't work, and Everton are able to clear it away. 0-0.
Yeah, but you can feel that they're trying to speed it up about Arsenal. They're trying to zip it around the lines there. They realise against this Everton team, if you build up slowly, you've no chance.
This is Eze into the penalty area, left-hand side. Everton with 11 players back behind the ball pretty much. Eze still has it just on the periphery of the box now. Zubimendi to Saliba on the right-hand side. Oh, it was a clever idea. He tried to play it inside the defender for Saka to run onto, but it just flashed in front of Bukayo Saka and goes out for a goal kick to Everton, who were almost there to make it to half-time with a clean sheet here. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Back to the Six Nations, back to Wales, Italy, and back to Molly Stevens.
And Italy have another try. Ellis Mee, the Welshman, missed the tackle on his man. Tommaso Allen sails over for a try, and I thought there was another one then for Wales, but it's not. Wales 31, Italy 12.
Thanks very much. France against England, 8:10 kick-off on 5 Live. You can listen to Wales-Italy right now over on Sports Extra 3 as Gabriel clears the ball away for Arsenal up towards Kai Havertz, who's starting today ahead of Gyökeres at the spearhead of the Arsenal attack. He's had some nice touches in around the penalty area, but he hasn't had any shooting positions yet in the game as Jake O'Brien rolls the ball back to Jordan Pickford. Everton have it here inside their own penalty area. 3 minutes now of the 5 have been played of stoppages here ahead of the break at the Emirates Stadium. This 5:30 kickoff with Newcastle leading away at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. That game being played concurrently at the moment. Earlier on today, Burnley-Bournemouth was a 0-0 draw. Sunderland lost at home to Brighton. And Arsenal 0, Everton 0 for the moment here in North London. Idrissa Gueye has possession for Everton, whose defence could do with a breather between now and half-time. Mikalenko on the halfway line, no big high press from Arsenal, so Mikalenko can play it forward towards Beto. Not a great ball, though, easily cut out by Saliba. Saliba's clearance went to Idrissa Gueye, and Arsenal have got a bit of work to do here on the edge of their own penalty area, and nothing fancy this time as Gabriel clears it out for an Everton throw inside Arsenal territory. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and they were chasing really high up the field. Sometimes you look at a team, they're having to work so hard, Everton, and you're suggesting there could be tiredness comes in. The defence could do with a little bit of a break. They don't look like a team that's tiring. They don't look like a team that's going to run out of gas anytime soon. And possibly more important than anything else, we talked a lot about the Everton back line. You would put together a back line and not a natural right full back out there. The two substitute centre backs ain't looked like that so far, has it? Certainly has not looked like that so far.
All right, the 5 minutes are almost up. Maybe time for one last attack. Everton in possession on the halfway line. Dwight McNeil has got James Garner overlapping outside him. Gets level with the edge of the penalty area that Arsenal defend. Irabunum returns it to McNeil. That's a good ball. McNeil dinks it into the penalty area, but a little bit high for Iliman Ndiaye. Everton hold on to possession, but they're outside the penalty area on the left-hand side. Arsenal players now want to hear the half-time whistle because Everton are on the attack. We've played the 5 minutes. This is Idrissa Gueye, just outside the box, shoots, but straight to the ribcage of David Raya, who holds it close to his chest, and that's the signal for the referee to blow the half-time whistle here. So Everton have come really close. They've hit the woodwork. Another shot cleared by a defender in front of the goalkeeper. Arsenal, who've had a lot of shots and a lot of pressure, but they've really only troubled Pickford once, and 0-0 it is at half-time. Pat Nevin.
There's no doubt who's the happier manager walking in just now. It's David Moyes, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, Arsenal aren't playing badly, but the freedom going forward for most Everton players is very noticeably different and better than the Arsenal players going forward. You need the shackles off. I think we'll give it another 10-15 minutes, and then Mikel Arteta has to make changes to lift it a little bit.
That's it. The longer this stays 0-0, the pressure will only increase on Arsenal. Yes, Everton have a lot to play for. They started the day 8th in the table. 8th could be good enough for a qualification spot for Europe next season, but there's no doubt the pressure today is on Arsenal, and they have not been able to make the breakthrough yet. At half-time at the Emirates on 5 Live, it's Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
There is a goal in the 5:30s, though. It came at Stamford Bridge. Half-time there, John Southall.
And it's gone to Newcastle. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. Boos at half-time from the home fans. And you have to say Newcastle have been fairly comfortable in this first half. Chelsea had 2 chances before the goal. Fofana headed over and Cole Palmer shot wide. The goal itself far too easy. Livramento's through ball opened up the Chelsea defence, picked out Willock. He fed Anthony Gordon and he couldn't miss from 4 yards out. 16th of the season, 5th in the league. After that, Chelsea laboured, created very little. And Malik Chow, he headed over for Newcastle, and Ramsey late on in the half, his shot deflected and saved by Sanchez. And Mark, did you see the pre-match Chelsea huddle before kickoff? I mean, they always do it in the centre circle, and somehow Paul Tierney, the referee, ended up in the middle of it and just refused to move. So just I'm sure you'll see on social media, and he just stood there in the middle. I mean,
good for him, though. Good for him.
Is it good? I don't know.
Well, but the whole argument is where they do that huddle, isn't it?
Yeah, well, half of it's in the opposition half as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, well, he joins Donald Trump, doesn't he, by being somewhere where he shouldn't be in a Chelsea team.
Exactly, yes, from the World Club final celebrations. Thank you very much, John. Elsewhere in the Premier League earlier, Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0. And Brighton won 1-0 at Sunderland. Celtic beat Motherwell 3-1 in the Scottish Premiership title race. Motherwell down to 10 in that as well. So the gap between the two, Celtic and Hearts, now down to 2 points. Hearts have a game in hand, and that comes at Kilmarnock tonight. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. In the Championship, surprise results everywhere, with Coventry, the leaders, beaten. Middlesbrough in second, being held at home. Millwall in third at the start of the day, being beaten. And Hull in fifth, losing as well at West Brom. So the only winners were Ipswich. And in fact, their win at Sheffield Wednesday takes them from 4th to 3rd this evening. In League One, the top two both won. Lincoln beating Stockport, which knocked Stockport out of the playoff places, and Cardiff winning at Exeter. And in League Two, the top two both won. Bromley and MK Dons. In fact, the top three all won as well, with Cambridge thrashing Gillingham by 5 goals to 0. In the Six Nations, Ireland beat Scotland, so we'll have reaction to that during half-time. The final score there was 43 points to 21, and Italy are trying to mount a comeback in Cardiff against Wales, and I'm guessing the home fans will have breathed a sigh of relief just a few moments ago, Molly.
Absolutely, they will have. Italy really are doing all they can to get back into this. They thought they had a third try just moments ago. Monty Ione sailed over in the corner, but after a lengthy deliberation from the TMO, he ruled it no try. He says Ione's knee was over the touchline before he grounded it. So a sigh of relief indeed, but Italy on the attack as we speak. Wales 31, Italy 12, and 73 minutes on the clock.
So reaction from Dublin to come. We'll head to Paris as well ahead of France-England, which gets underway at 8:10, and we'll hear from Martin O'Neill after Alison Hughes and the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. President Trump is asking countries, including the UK and China, to join the United States in sending warships to the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has largely been blocking the waterway since the US and Israel began their attacks on the country. Around a fifth of the world's oil is shipped through the strait. Donald Trump says the US will continue to bomb the hell out of the Iranian shoreline in the meantime. The US Embassy in Baghdad has told American citizens to leave Iraq immediately after drones struck the building last night. The embassy says militia groups aligned with Iran are encouraging and carrying out attacks on US targets throughout the country. The Chancellor Rachel Reeves says she'll offer support to households struggling with higher heating oil costs. Prices have gone up a lot because of the war in the Middle East. And police in Coventry are asking anyone with information to come forward after the body of a man was found in a wheelie bin which was left in Cash's Park. Officers believe the man, thought to be in his 40s, was put there after being hit by a car yesterday afternoon.
On BBC iPlayer.
Get back! Everyone get back!
Suspect on the move. Lower ground level.
Everything from heart pounders.
He is the man behind this.
Beautiful strike. What a ball! It's 2-0!
To heart warmers.
Welcome. I'm so proud of you. Well done.
Mum is surprising me, and it's quite inspiring.
I feel alive. This is amazing.
From high stakes action to feel good favourites. Wherever you stream, BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
So much live sport going on at the moment. Once Chelsea-Newcastle finishes at the Bridge on Sports Extra, you'll be able to listen to the third round from the Players' Championship at Sawgrass. It will start on Sports Extra 2 in the next few minutes. Ian Carter.
Yes, and Ludwig Åberg, the Swedish European Ryder Cup player, leading the way 12 under par, 2 ahead of Xander Schauffele. Really good looking leaderboard here. It doesn't include Rory McIlroy round in the 71 today, or the world number one Scotty Scheffler, who looked more like his usual self in his 67. Bob McIntyre's just finished with a 65. He's muscling in on the leaderboard, having got up to 7 under par and a share of 5th place. But an unsettling background to this third round day, Mark, because there was a fatal shooting just outside the course last night. There was a manhunt for the suspect. Someone has now been arrested, and the knock-on effect of that was not massive, but it did delay spectators getting in earlier this morning. So a slightly unsettled background ahead of what should be an enthralling third round here.
OK, Ian, thank you very much. So Sports Extra from 7:30 to listen to the golf. Let's go back to events in Dublin. Ireland 43, Scotland 21. So Scotland miss out on any chance of the Six Nations title and on the Triple Crown. Here's their head coach, Gregor Townsend.
We didn't have a very good first half and we showed much more of who we are in that second half. I thought the physicality, how to take on a defence, and also how we were defending was excellent. The momentum was going in our favour. We just gave Ireland a couple of possessions in our half, in that second half, and they did very well. They attacked really well, so all credit to them. But for a big long period in the second half, we felt we were in control of our own destiny, but we just got to be more accurate.
Irish captain Caelan Doris was also awarded Player of the Match, so let's hear from him.
Pretty hectic. Felt like a game of chess at some stages, back and forward. We scored, they scored. I thought we took our chances very well. the atmosphere here was unbelievable. We could feel you guys, so thanks a million.
The fact that you won when they threw everything at you and you still won must be hugely pleasing.
Yeah, we saw what they were capable of last week, so we have to be high alert. Always switched on. We knew what their attack is capable of. Felt our defence stood up pretty well today and got quite a few turnovers. I thought special mention to Tyburn. Thought he was unbelievable. I thought this probably should be around his neck.
How pleasing is it to win the Triple Crown when you consider where this team is at? How pleasing is it to be Triple Crown champions?
Yeah, very pleasing. I mean, I think it's the start of a journey in a way. It's an important part along the way. Still plenty more building to do and chasing down the potential that we have, but we definitely saw some of what we're capable of in this tournament.
The Triple Crown is good. The championship will be better. Are you off now to cheer on England?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a rare day that we're cheering them on. But we'll see what happens. We've done our job, so we can sit back and enjoy the rest of the day.
It is a rare event for Ireland as they wish England well in Paris. Matt Dawson there, ready for kick-off in just over 90 minutes' time. What chance England then?
What chance indeed. I mean, I have to say it's a relatively slim one given the sort of evidence over the last month or so for England. But this championship has created some incredible stories, isn't it, so far? And there's plenty on the line, individually, collectively, for both sides. I may be clutching at straws a little bit here, chappers, but a yellow card here or there, the bounce of a ball, a few decisions go your way, and England could well be in the game. We can't lose sight of the fact that England are still packed full of the players that we were praising and enjoying watching play and dominate the rugby calendar last year. So if they do click, if they have a different mindset in the way that they play, then they are going to pose a threat to France and stress them. So there is a chance, but the form, of course, are going to say that France will be relatively comfortable.
What is that mindset then? Is it the mindset that the Scots had last week?
Yeah, that's a fantastic example, chappers. I think, in simple terms, you have to expect France to score 30 points tonight, the way they play. You have to. So you've got to score 31. You've got to aim to score 40. You've got a little bit like Scotland were last week, where they were scoring and getting into the 20-point zone, and it wasn't like, hold on a minute, we could win this game. They didn't have that mindset. It was, let's do it again. Let's score another try. Let's get more points on the board, and let's not worry about the result until the final whistle goes. And I think England, if they are going to score more than 30 points tonight, they cannot play like they've played in the last three games with that style, the box kicking, very defensive, trying to live off scraps. It's just not going to work tonight. Statistically, Steve Borthwick may well try and defend that, but unfortunately, the sport is not all statistics, and the guys are going to have to read it on the day. I think the ball just is going to need to be. I don't expect it to be sort of willy-nilly throwing it everywhere, but maybe slightly more risk taken.
And if they don't win, and Italy have had 2 tries chalked off in the last 10 minutes in Cardiff, which would have made it a humdinger of the last 90 seconds, which is all that's left there with Wales leading 31-12. I mean, if they had those tries given and converted them, there'd be a lot of nerves in the Welsh capital at the moment. But let's say England don't win tonight, and then they finish on the same number of wins as a Welsh side and a Welsh country that are meant to be in crisis. That doesn't help their cause, does it? That I know you can only look at yourselves, but if you it doesn't help.
I think we're slightly clutching at a narrative there. I think if England put in a performance tonight, I don't think they need to win it for Borthwick to keep his job, or for us to. We'll probably reflect and think, well, Steve, you cannot go into international games and play and have the strategic game plan that you did against Scotland, Ireland and Italy. That is not going to win you a World Cup. Playing against France, competing physically, mentally, and going the distance with France, and maybe just by losing within 10 points, but it's a cracking encounter. for me, probably tells Steve Borthwick that that's something to work on with the player base that he's got, that are going to enjoy playing that style of rugby, and they've got 18 months to improve. Very different story if England get blown away by 30 odd points and they play in the same style that they have done for the last 3 games. Then questions are going to be over Steve Borthwick and why are you setting this team up to play like that?
Enjoy, if that's the right word. Matt, Paul Grayson, Chris Jones in the Stade de France. It's a 8:10 kickoff. Let's head to Cardiff, where I would imagine they're ready to celebrate. Molly Stevens.
Ready to erupt, honestly. The people around me all on their feet in red. This would be quite something. I've already seen Steve Tandy shaking hands with Danny Wilson to his right-hand side and saying, come on, boys, because they know they've got this win in the bag. A big win at that. I mean, Italy have just gone over for another try, and that won't matter though at this rate. 1,491 long days, Mark. 3 long years, and Wales finally have their first home Six Nations win since 2022. Just the scoreline to be settled now, as Italy will look to kick this conversion. But Wales, I mean, what an ending to their tournament. He misses the kick, does Paolo Garbisi, and this game ends 31 points to 17. Immediately the camera pans to Dewi Lake, the captain, who has a huge grin on his face, and for once in this tournament he will smile in his post-match interview, knowing that this cloud is somewhat lifting on this Wales team, on this Wales, proud Wales and Welsh rugby nation. 2 tries from Wainwright, 1 from Lake, and the bonus point from Dan Edwards. A huge win for Wales. 31 points to 17. It ends in Cardiff.
France-England to come then at 8:10. West Ham Manchester City is an 8 o'clock kickoff, so you'll hear plenty of updates during our coverage from the Stade de France, and it makes it a very big 45 minutes ahead for Arsenal. Goalless at home to Everton. Back to Pat and Connor.
Yeah, huge second half underway here in North London under now darkened skies. Arsenal playing from right to left as we look down. No changes in personnel over the break. Calafiori sprinting over the halfway line and feeding the ball to Noni Madueke on the left-hand side. Everton, who did so well in the first half at doubling up on Arsenal's wide players. And once again, Dwight McNeil is back there alongside James Garner to ensure that if Madueke gets past one of them, well, then the other one would be lurking in behind. Arsenal give it back out to their number 20. Cuts an early pass to Gabriel, the central defender who's come forward to the edge of the box. Back out to Madueke. Dummies across with his left. Dummies across with his right. Gives it to Declan Rice, trying to shuffle to find space, but Everton are giving no space. And the ball goes out for an Everton throw-in, and David Moyes' team survive Arsenal's first attack of the second half. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and they've survived the way they survived the entirety of the first half. As you perfectly explained, everyone apart from Beto behind the ball. It's quite a low block, yeah, but the 2 wide the wingers are making sure there's no space for both Madueke and Saka on their wings there, so they have to go through the middle. It's where Everton are trying to funnel them. There's very little space there, and if Arsenal are going to do it, they're going to have to do something slightly different. It might be a corner. It may well be that they have a moment of genius.
Oh, hang on. Njai has won the ball off Mosquera here inside Arsenal territory, and Kiernan Dewsbury Hall will bring it into the box, and Mosquera's got to be careful here. He's done really well, the Spanish defender, having stumbled initially. What a recovery that is, and then he's got to be so careful not to foul Dewsbury Hall inside the box.
Well, Dewsbury Hall thinks he was fouled. He's not going to get that. If Kai Havertz didn't get his in the first half, you're definitely not going to get that. No, there's nothing but... Well, I think he may actually also be asking for a corner kick. Tight one for the referee, but interesting start to the second half. Very, very similar. We know that Arsenal are going to have to adapt it and change it because they're not creating enough opportunities. If it doesn't change in these first 10 or 15 minutes, they have to speed up the final third play.
Yeah, plenty of attacking for Arsenal. I mean, they have had attempts at goal and lots of them, but most of them speculative, long range, taking deflections, that kind of thing.
And blocked. And the reason why they're blocked is because they're not quick enough.
Njai, crossing position, swings it in towards Beto. Gabriel puts it out. Everton get a corner. Corner for Everton in front of the travelling fans who are housed over there where This Everton corner kick is going to be taken. Arsenal, who love to attack with corner kicks, now they've got to defend one. 0-0.
Do you know, the Everton fans have travelled in big numbers, and there's a lot of Evertonians down here in London as well. But they're loving it. They're really enjoying it. You couldn't say that about. They were suffering their team for year after year after year. They're watching them now, and they're actually a joy for those Everton fans to watch because they're well organised, but they've also got a bit of imagination too.
Arsenal conceded from a corner in the Champions League in midweek against Leverkusen, and a little hush just descending over the stadium now as here comes the delivery from the left-hand side as Everton come forward. Raya punches down, McNeil tries to follow in, Beto turns, shoots, what a save, Raya again! The goalkeeper stretching out his left leg to save the shot that was heading into the bottom corner. Great little piece of adapting from Beto to swivel and shoot in one motion. That's one of Everton's best chances of the game, but David Raya, as he's been doing all season, pulls out another very important stop.
Well, you talked about the brilliance of the Pickford save earlier on. Yes, it would have been offside. That's just as good, even if it doesn't look as good.
Eza plays it forward. Michael Keane backpedaling, manages to get the header ahead of Kai Havertz. And Everton regain possession inside their own half. David Raya in goal for Arsenal. The back four is Mosquera, who came on for the injured Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori back in the starting team. Zubimendi alongside Rice in the midfield. Madueke and Saka either side of Eza playing in the 10 role. And Kai Havertz is the Arsenal centre forward who's yet to have a clean shot at goal in the game. Everton have got Pickford in goal. It's a back four that doesn't have Tarkowski or indeed Branthwaite. Garner, O'Brien, Keane and Mikalenko are the back four. Irabunum is alongside Idrissa Gueye in the midfield. Then it's McNeil on the right, Njai on the left, Kieran Dewsbury Hall through the centre, and Beto is the centre forward. 5 minutes played in the second half here. I'd imagine they'll be similar at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea taking on Newcastle, who led at the break. Here's John Southall.
And that is still the case. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. Opening chance for Chelsea in this second half from the second half substitute. Liam Delap came on at half time, won the ball inside the penalty area. Shot saved by Ramsdale. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
Live rugby coming up on 5 Live, where you can listen to France against England from 8:10. Coverage of that Chelsea-Newcastle game is available live right now over on Sports Extra, so you've got a choice of listening. Table-topping Arsenal, hoping to extend their lead over Manchester City, who play at West Ham later. Calafiori nearly giving the ball away, but an unfortunately timed stumble by Dwight McNeil means that he can't take advantage of that. If this was to stay as a draw, by the way, Arsenal would extend their lead to 8 points ahead of Manchester City, but they'd have played 2 games more by the time City kick off later on. Arsenal have it at the back. They're under pressure from a very hungry Everton team. Saka cleverly leaving it for Eze there. That was really smart. Eze tried to explode away, but Irabunum was back to track that run. Eze holds on to possession. He's done well to keep it alive for Declan Rice. Garner slides in ahead of Madueke. All he can do is nudge it away. He can't win possession, and Arsenal still have it on the attack here. Calafiori to Madueke on the left-hand side. 0-0 on 5 Live at the Emirates. Zubimendi collects on the edge of the penalty area here, but Everton have worked hard to get all the bodies back behind the ball, and now it's played by Gabriel to William Saliba. They've all backed away from Saliba. He rolls it to the feet of Saka on the right-hand side. Ear-splitting noise inside the Emirates. Support from the Arsenal fans. Saka onto his left boot, tries to shoot low, but has been the case throughout this game. Too many Everton defenders in the way, and the shot never gets through to the goalkeeper. Pat Nevin.
Yes, that second phase of attacks that Arsenal do are too slow. The first one's okay, but by the time they try a second phase of attack, Everton are back, and they're so hard to break through.
Madueke tries to do it. It comes off a defender, and Arsenal think it goes for a corner. The referee says no, that Pickford managed to scramble across and keep the ball in play.
You will start thinking, how do Arsenal change it? What do they adapt it? Do they bring on like for like if they don't get a goal in the next 5 or 10 minutes? And I don't think you should be doing that. I think you should think of something completely different if you don't get that breakthrough in the next 5 or 10 minutes. I suspect getting Havertz to drop a little bit deeper and bring in either Jesus or Gyökeres, but we shall see.
Havertz, who hasn't had an awful lot of full 90 minutes and he's under his belt this season. Mosquera comes forward on the right-hand side for Arsenal. This is Zubimendi, still 10 yards outside the box here. There was a moment a moment ago when Saliba had the ball and all the defenders backed off him. And do you know what occurred to me? Do you remember that famous Vincent Kompany goal when Manchester City were closing in on the title one year? And it almost feels like Arsenal need something like that. They need a bolt from the blue. This is Madueke on the left wing for Arsenal. Again, the two defenders around him. He tries to sprint through, but there's absolutely no space there. And in order to hold on to possession, Arsenal must retreat.
Yeah, and it's in the same position again, but the amount of concentration that you need for Everton, though.
Miscue by Njai, and Saka's able to pick it up inside the penalty area, and he floats it across, but Jake O'Brien will head it away, and that's going to go out of play for an attacking throw into Arsenal down the right-hand side. Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
I keep on waiting to see if Everton wilt. They haven't wilted yet, but they're putting so much work in there, and Arsenal are just expecting at some point somebody can turn off, and if they do that, one of the players that have got imagination, like Eze, like Saka, might be able to turn it into something golden.
Yes, this is going to become an endurance test for Everton here at the Emirates. 0-0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. William Saliba with the ball at his feet, plays it up to Kai Havertz on the edge of the box, but Michael Keane defending behind him was able to unsettle, and Mikolenko clears away, and now Beto tries to take them all on and goes down, but the referee says no, play on for Arsenal, no foul there. Arsenal have possession. Saka, wild crossfield pass, goes over the head of Madueke and goes out of play for a throw into Everton right full back position for them. Interesting, Mikel Arteta does applaud that, though. He likes the idea, if not quite the execution.
Well, that's what I'm saying about it. You need to allow to take chances. You must take risks in that final third. Yeah, it's probably 20% chance of coming off, but that's the ones you keep on doing, because when it does come off, you get a goal out of it, or you get a chance out of it. I'm absolutely with Arteta. That's what your team should be doing just now.
And the nervous edge around the Emirates with each passing minute, and we've played 10 minutes now in the second half, is just moving up a little notch every time, and the longer this stays at 0-0, every single attack is going to get even more important.
Do you know it's a good thing, Connor? The Arsenal fans know. I've seen this a few times down at this stadium this season. They know when their team really needs a hand. So that nervousness we felt in the first half, well, they're now singing and they're getting behind them. You'll hear North London forever in a couple of minutes when they really go for it.
This Arsenal team who want to trust the process. The plan has got them to the top of the table with a 7-point lead so far. They won't want to reinvent the wheel here that they haven't made a breakthrough today. It's about plugging away. It's about waiting for the big opportunity to come. And then crucially, it's about taking it. It's also crucially about not making an error that might gift something silly to Everton, which will just be at the back of Arsenal minds. And there hasn't been many little misjudgments by them today, but stakes this high, any error could be so costly. Mosquera has possession on the right-hand side, doesn't quite offer the same attacking dynamism that Julian Timber does. Rolls the ball back to William Saliba. All players, apart from David Raya, are inside Everton territory. Everton defending really deeply, and there's the increase in volume you mentioned again, Pat, for the Arsenal fans. Saka with a chance to cross on the right wing, up against Iliman Njai, supported by Zubimendi. Back again to Saliba. Few groans from Arsenal fans as they have to retreat here as Everton try to force them out. Gabriel's going to try and come down the left-hand side. Good ball to Mosquera, good covering by Garner. But Arsenal get a corner, and more often than not, that's more than enough for them. Corner to Arsenal, and Gabriel, as he runs forward, is swirling his arms like a windmill, drumming up the enthusiasm of the crowd for this corner kick.
I think it went the other way. I think the crowd drummed up the enthusiasm of the players there, and that's what made them liven it up much quicker, moving it, got the ball out to Madueke. He couldn't get it, but he got it in a difficult area, and it's led to the corner kick.
Corner kick to Arsenal. Declan Rice stands over it, left-hand side as they come forward. Everton have packed their own 6-yard box. There's only one Arsenal player in that 6-yard box, but you know they're all going to move in there as the kick comes in. Here it comes, towards the back post, headed up into the air by Michael Keane. Saka tries to play it back into the box. Calafiori to Saliba. So intricate here, but a ticky-tack inside the box. Nobody wants to take the shot here. Madueke gives it back out to the corner kick taker, Declan Rice on the left-hand side. And Arsenal, albeit holding on to possession, have had to retreat midway back inside the Everton half. They'll try to come forward down the left again. Declan Declan Rice, number 41 on his back, gives it to Eze outside the D of the penalty area. Space here for Madueke. Irabunum comes out, and that's a good lunge by Michael Keane to win possession back for Everton. Now, can the visitors hold on to it here? Idrissa Gueye can only hold on for a moment. Maybe Beto here. No, he's beaten to it by Saliba, who clenches his fist in celebration as he wins possession back for Arsenal again, and they'll bring it down the right with Kai Havertz. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and Arsenal are going to make those couple of changes. They've left that 10-15 minutes I expected them to do, but who's going to come off?
It's so edgy now. Havertz to the byline right hand side, allows the ball out of play because he knows the last touch was off a defender there, and he knows it's going to be a corner. And while we wait for that to set, back to Stamford Bridge and John Southall.
Well, it remains Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. A penalty shout for Newcastle. Fofana on Gordon on the edge of the penalty area. Fofana just got the ball. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
Gyökeres and Martinelli about to come on for Arsenal here. 0-0. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable you need to make a change, lift it a wee bit. You can feel the crowd's lifted a bit. Actually, Everton are going further back now, so it's beginning to build.
Here comes the corner. Saka plays it short. Second time Arsenal have done that today. No one's marking Eze on the edge of the box. He plays it in, but comes off, I think, Chin in Dewsbury Hall, and it's a strong bounce off him. And brave play by Irabunum, who tried to sprint forward and dipped his head down, knowing that the defender's boot was going to be near it, but he almost won possession. Everton have it with Beto here. Saliba, though, expertly comes across to win it back. And Beto, fair play to him, keeps up the effort there, tries to stop Saliba, but he's outfoxed by the defender. Here come Arsenal up to the halfway line. Everton had pushed a few bodies forward there, and the Arsenal fans see this as an opportunity. Just for once, Everton aren't completely stacked to the back. Here comes Madueke playing on the right wing now. Saka's in the middle. Madueke gets past the first defender. He gets past the second. Into the box, tries to pull it back. It's still alive here for Mosquera. And he gives it to Calafiori. Edge of the penalty area. On his left, low shot in. Michael Keane makes the block. Everton can't fully clear. It's back into the box again. Saka turns, shoots. It's only parried by Pickford. But James Garner is on hand to clear the ball away. Arsenal will hope they're getting closer to the opening goal here at the Emirates. It's still 0-0.
It just looks much better for Arsenal in these last 3 or 4 minutes. Since the two substitutes stood on the side, they've lifted it and they look much better. But he's going to make that change now. He may well take off Madueke, and that would be harsh on him because very little of the ball. However, when he has it, the ball, he's looked very dangerous. But the first one to come off will be Havertz.
Kai Havertz, who was starting today for only the third time in the Premier League this season. He's replaced by Victor Gyökeres, who has scored 5 goals in his last 7 Premier League games. And it is Noni Madueke who makes way for the introduction of Gabriel Martinelli. So at the moment, if it was to stay like this, Arsenal would be 8 points clear of Manchester City when they kick off at London Stadium at 8 o'clock. And Paul Gilmore's there. He's got the teams. Paul.
Evening, Connor. The North London clubs will be paying close attention to this one. West Ham make 5 changes from the Cup win. Tadebo, Wan-Bissaka, Diouf, Hermansen and Castellanos come back in. Somerville out injured as expected. Pep Guardiola brings in Ignore, Nunez and Marmoush into the starting 11. All eyes on Haaland. 11 goals and 7 against West Ham. Kick off 8 o'clock.
Thanks very much, Paul. So Arsenal hoping that they will have a 10-point lead by the time that kicks off. But for that to happen, they've got to win here. And at the moment, it's Arsenal 0, Everton 0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And we've played over the hour now. There's been a really intense period of Arsenal attacking pressure. And the home crowd here hoping that this is building into something. Declan Rice has possession midway inside the Everton half. He's got Martinelli now to his left-hand side. He's got Gyökeres on the edge of the area. Plays it in towards Gyökeres. Tried a little flick to find Eze, but it carried on too far and into the gloves of Jordan Pickford. Still 0-0, Pat.
And the changes that he's made, Arteta, it's very like for like, isn't it? He's not asked a different set of questions. I think he's probably said to Eze, go and play up alongside Gyökeres. It's looking more like a 4-2-4, so a little bit more attack-minded, but not gigantically different from what it was before. And I think Arteta's made the change when Arsenal have had their best 5 or 10 minutes of the game. And it's a kind of odd one because he's made the decision before that. You know, he decided, OK, I'm going to make a change now when it looked a bit dull. And before he got them on, they'd lifted it. So we shall see if Arsenal can keep that going.
This game here did finish 0-0 last season. However, Everton would love to take points from a trip to the Emirates again.
They're going for it, by the way. They've got Keane up front.
Yeah,
you know,
Michael
from
Keane
this
has
long
gone up for this free kick, which is taken by Pickford, high and hopeful towards the edge of the box. Keane underneath it, but beaten in the air by Saliba. And then Mikalenko's header is somewhat skewed. That's not helping out his teammates. O'Brien a bit more solid, but the header goes straight to Saka. Nearly a chance of a breakaway for Gyökeres. Mikalenko, again, not the firmest header you've ever seen. And Irabunim's going to give it away to Calafiori here. Arsenal on the prowl, down the left-hand side. Gyökeres to the byline, up against Jake O'Brien, who is strong. And Everton regained possession again. And a nice pass from Irabunim to Dwight McNeil. But he can't bring it with him because of an expert intervention by Martin Zubimendi. And Arsenal get it back again. 63 minutes on the clock. The tension, you can feel the nerves. Arsenal chasing a first Premier League title in 22 years. Can they get the breakthrough here? Rice, Eze! Oh, it's across the goal and wide. Pickford was at full stretch. Couldn't get a touch. And thankfully for Everton, he didn't need to. It's wide, it's Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Back to Chelsea, Newcastle and John Southall.
64 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. A penalty claim this time for Chelsea. Voltemada on Cole, Palmer down by the byline, not given. Liam Rosenior not happy. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
Commentary of that right now available on Sports Extra. We've just seen a few replays of the Eze shot pad. That was agonisingly close to an opening goal.
And the thing to underline, good though Jordan Pickford is, if that's on target, he's not saving it. Absolutely not saving it. He isn't even close to Eze. Very unlucky there. And his best moment of the game so far since he's moved a little bit further forward.
Match of the day, 10:20 tonight on BBC One. Saka crosses for Arsenal. Gyökeres, man marked by Jake O'Brien, who was very tough and strong there. And Everton are able to clear it away. Raya almost up to the halfway line, launches it on the volley. Back into Everton territory. And Martinelli is adjudged to a foul corner. Arsenal fans, as you can hear in the background, are not happy with that, but referee Andy Madley was close to it, and he said that is a foul from the Brazilian.
It's a wee bit harsh. Oh, Martinelli, he's just stood his ground there. Yeah, he's bent over a little bit, but Garner's come over the top of him. I think you're allowed to do that. I think that's desperately unfair in Martinelli there. He was away, in a great position. I think the referee allowed it to go for a second or two, and dare I say, bottled it, because it would have been a big call to let that go.
So boos and jeers around the Emirates. Pickford's taking his time over the restart here. He's come well out of his penalty area to take the free kick.
Well, here's another thing to think about just now. I don't think Everton are going to accept a 0-0. We were talking about the fact that Arsenal are going attacking this and have had most of the second half. I don't think David Moyes or this Everton team are thinking, yeah, we'll just hang on for a point. They want to go and get 3. They're safe. They may as well go for it.
Oh, but they want European football. It's 8 years since Everton were last in Europe. They started today in 8th place, which, depending on, there's a lot could happen above them, but 8th could be good enough for a European place next season. Certainly above that would be. So there is much for Everton to get their teeth into, and how they would love that in what is their first season in their new home.
I'd be intrigued because I think Barry's coming on now, understandably so. It often happens with Everton, but I do, it's the weirdest thing. For such a long time, Everton would tear your hand off to get a point here at the Emirates. They're looking at it now thinking, no, go for it. Last 10 or 15 minutes, they might go and attack and throw players forward, which is maybe the best thing that can happen for Arsenal.
David Moyes, who's only ever had one win here as a visiting manager, one win in 23 visits. But that one win did come the last time he brought a team here, back when he was West Ham manager 2 seasons ago at the Emirates. Could he possibly win here 2 in a row? Mikalenko down the left-hand side for Everton. Good defending by Mosquera, but it goes out for a corner for Everton, and the big men are going to come forward for the back, and Arsenal are forced to retreat here. 0-0 at the Emirates. We are midway through the second half now. A corner to Everton, and you just can't take your eyes and ears off this, because a big breakthrough moment could happen at any moment.
And it could go either way. Yes, certainly in the second half, Arsenal have had most of the game. But that's Everton's game plan. They will break at some point in time. And the likes of O'Brien going and attacking this just now. And by the way, O'Brien, how good a game has he had today? I think he's been absolutely magnificent.
Covering centre half, which is his natural position, but he's been right back all season. Here comes the corner, swung into the front post. Whole flock of red shirts are there. Oh, that's a poor clearance. Martinelli's got an important touch. Idrissa Gueye trying to follow him up, can't get a shot. Arsenal can't get it away. Everton remain on the attack after a sort of scrappy corner kick moment. Njai is challenged by Saka, and Njai fouls Bukayo Saka, and a big guttural roar from Arsenal fans as they get a free kick. And Declan Rice has a problem again, not for the first time in the game. He's down on his haunches, and he may need some treatment here. And I think he received a blow while trying to defend that corner a moment ago, Declan Rice. Everton, in the meantime, will make their change like for like. Tierno Barry is going to come on in place of Beto as the centre forward.
I mean, you've got to say Beto, he's worked, he's chased, he tries to be physical. His touches maybe just a wee bit off this standard. So when it does come off him at all, the two Arsenal centre-backs have taken the ball off him quite easily. But he's never given up, and he's put his weight, really thrown his weight around a bit. But Barry, another tall player, but maybe with a slightly better technique.
Yeah, Everton fans will be pleased to see Tierno Barry come on. He's taken a while to get going, but they're now seeing a player in Tierno Barry. He, after a long time, I think it was like 14 games or something till he got his first goal, but he's now Everton's joint top Premier League scorer this season along with Dewsbury Hall. And he wins a lot in the air. He's not as tall as Beto, but he probably wins more in the air, Tierno Barry. So this is something different for the Arsenal defenders to cope with now with 22 minutes of normal time remaining in this game. Arsenal 0, Everton 0, 5 live from the BBC. Commentary of Chelsea against Newcastle available right now over on Sports Extra. And Six Nations Rugby, big deciding game, France against England, is a 8:10 start here on the network. Let's go to Stamford Bridge to see what the recent developments are. John Southall.
Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. Anthony Gordon with a 20-yarder trying to curl it into the top right-hand corner, saved by a flying Sanchez. They will be delighted with this Newcastle. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
Martinelli tries to attack down the left-hand side, but he's a bit weak there, but he's easily pushed off the ball, and then he tries to make amends and puts pressure on Garner, but the last touch off Martinelli means a goal kick to Everton away to our left-hand side. 0-0, Pat.
It's beginning to really ratchet up now. There is a sense of these Arsenal players that they're not creating quite enough chances. They had that little 10 minutes or so where they built up, the fans got behind them, and oddly enough, the substitutions had the negative effect. They've slowed it down. They are not playing anywhere near as well or as quickly since those substitutions.
Yeah, he might warm up Martinelli, but he's not having the impact that Madueke was having before that switch.
He was just building into a game, and those players had worked really hard, particularly, as I say, Madueke. Sometimes you have to work and work and work to develop the space. The space was beginning to open up for him, and then he's hooked, and he'll be gutted. But it's kind of said to Martinelli, right, you need to come on at 100 miles an hour now, and it's not happened yet.
Right, a reminder of the stakes. Arsenal, top of the Premier League, but they've been top of the Premier League each of the last 3 seasons at various stages, and they haven't been able to hold on to win the big prize. And if you look back over the last 4 years, the last 8 games of the season, Manchester City, on average, 6 points more than Arsenal in those closing 8 games. So that history, that track record in the back of minds here. Arsenal fans who believe they've got a better squad this time, who believe this is their year, but can they get the win here against Everton to give themselves a bit of comfort today, with Manchester City about to kick off at 8 o'clock at West Ham? Michael Keane has possession for Everton, gives it to Mikolenko at left back. His ball up towards the halfway line is intended for Tierno Barry, but cut up by William Saliba. Michael Keane bravely stretches out his head to win a header there, and Idrissa Gueye gets the ball down on the deck and accelerates over the halfway line. He's got Iliman Ndiaye on the left-hand side, tries to return it to Idrissa Gueye, who's fouled by Mosquera. Attacking free kick for Everton just outside the penalty area, left-hand side as the visitors come forward. That was a good run from what must be a tiring Idrissa Gueye, but he gave it everything. He put Mosquera under pressure, and that's a free kick to Everton.
But that does sum up what I was saying about Evan. I don't think they are, by the way, it's not a foul. It's never a foul in a month of Sundays. So he's bought one there, and they're running into the defender, and Mosquera's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's just been strong and running in a straight line, so referee's got that one, and so Arsenal fans will be absolutely fuming if they lose a goal out of this. And it's this very opportunity, because this is a dangerous area to put a cross in from.
Free kick to Everton, which James Garner is standing over. And Arsenal have brought everyone back. McNeil is over it too.
Another couple of substitutions coming up for Arsenal in a minute as well.
And they're going to have to throw the kitchen sink at this the longer the game stays at 0-0. Here's the free kick. Garner in swinger. Header in front of Raya is off target. Michael Keane threw himself at it. Tino Barry was throwing himself at it. And Arsenal are so relieved that that flashes wide. I think Everton were appealing that the last touch was off a defender and it should be a corner. But the officials say last touch off Michael Keane, and that's a goal kick to Arsenal, but that was close.
Let's be fair, we both expected that to nestle in the back of the net. Whipped him towards the back post there, curling in towards the goal. There is a touch. Ryan's absolutely nowhere near it. Wow, that was close. Very close.
Okay, here come the changes. Big roar to welcome Piero Hincapié onto the field. He replaces Calafiore. Hincapié, who has started 17 of the last 19 Premier League games, so that is safe hands that have been brought on in that position. And then into the midfield, a little bit more of a risk element. This is brave from Mikel Arteta. He's taking off Mr. Dependable Martin Zubimendi, and he's bringing on the excitement of the young kid, the 16-year-old Max Dauman is on for Arsenal.
I'm really happy to see that. If Arsenal, doing things by numbers, everyone talks about the corners and the free kicks and a bit more creativity. You don't get much more than Dauman. He's very, very special. It's all about getting him the ball. And he's so good in tight spaces, but you need to get him the ball in that final third. Asking a lot of Declan Rice, who's going to be holding that midfield on his own now.
This is only Max Dauman's third substitute appearance in the Premier League this season. He did start in the FA Cup recently against Mansfield, but talk about putting your faith in youth on a day that Arsenal are being asked big and deep questions by Everton now. Mikel Arteta has turned to 16-year-old Max Dauman. So he's on the right wing. Saka's playing in the number 10 role, really. Martinelli on the left-hand side. Gyökeres leading the attack. Arsenal need a goal. There's a quarter of an hour to play, and looking around the stadium, everyone's on the edge of their seats here. Dauman gets a touch, gives it to Declan Rice. Listen to the hush suddenly, the enormity of the occasion settling, and I think there's one or two puzzle looks about Dauman, but they want to see some magic. Here he is on the ball, runs across the face of the edge of the penalty area. It falls for Gabriel, who takes a weak, tame shot. That spins away way off target, so a chance well wide of the target there, and a chance at Stamford Bridge too. John Southall.
Great chance for Chelsea. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. Fell to Liam Delap 10 yards out. First time on his left foot over the crossbar. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
Thanks very much, John. So here at the Emirates, well, it is a time to ponder, a time to question. It's a time when some doubt might creep in. It's a time when a hero might emerge.
Yeah, very, very tense just all around the stadium. The thing is, for Everton, there's no tension at all. They're all right, they're safe, they can just enjoy it and go through the game and keep to the game plan. Arsenal have to ask weird and different questions, and they're doing that. Ezzy's all over the place now. He's not got
Free
a set
roll,
position.
yeah.
You see Declan Rice now, he is the anchor in that midfield, but he'll fly forward as well. As I say, I do think Arsenal fans will be thinking, get the ball to Dauman, get the ball to Saka in that final third, and just take chances.
Yeah, this is similar to the sort of role Eze would have had at Crystal Palace. More of a free, go where you feel comfortable, as Dauman picks up the ball on the right wing, cuts in on his left boot, running across the edge of the area, gives it to Weber. Eze, snapshot is straight at Michael Keane. If Keane had left that, it would have gone out for a goal kick, but he wasn't to know, so he made an interception. Everton still have work here to try and clear it away. Good work from Idrissa Gueye to give it up to Tino Barry, and surrounded by defenders, he's tackled by Gabriel. Arsenal come again. Dauman, oh brilliant, away from Keane and Dewsbury Hall. Can he get the shot here? He turns back onto his left boot. Dewsbury Hall recovered well. Keane had come out as well. There was just a little stumble there from Max Dauman. After a brilliant build-up, he couldn't get the shot away. He's on the ball again. Gives it to Weber Eze. Just outside the tee, that Arsenal attack. There's a good shot. Saved by Pickford. And the following up Martinelli couldn't make connection as Tino Barry collides with Gabriel. But the whistle had blown anyway. And I think Martinelli was offside as he tried to follow through there. So it's a free kick to Everton. Back inside their own penalty area, but Ebe Eze's shot there, bringing the save from Jordan Pickford.
So let's be fair, the first two substitutions that Arteta made very little difference other than negative ones. Dauman coming on, wow, that's made a difference. That's lifted everything up. He just drops his shoulder, he makes space, he goes past players, and that's what they've not been doing enough of. Those risks that you need to take if you're going to win leagues. He's come on, he's taking a risk with a 16-year-old, but more than that, the kid will take chances, and he's looked really good since he's come on.
Yeah, the bravery of youth. Max Talbot, who has come on here, and he is just taking this as if it's a youth game. He's taking it by the scruff of the neck, and Arsenal fans love to see it. Here he is, hungry to get on the ball. Dowman tries a little flick, but Mikalenko was aware of the danger there and is able to shield the ball out of play. He sort of tried to dummy it there, Dowman, to jump over the ball and run around the other side, but Mikalenko has seen all that before, and it's an Everton throw on the far side. Arsenal 0, Everton 0, 10 ending, 5 Live on BBC Sport. This Teton kickoff on this Saturday on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, as Gabriel has possession for Arsenal, playing from right to left as we look down. He pumps it long, looking for Victor Gyökeres. They haven't played this pass very often today. Gyökeres tries to pull it back for Dowman, but you'll hear the groans. Bad pass from the Swede. Everton get it back, immediately up to Tierno Barry, who's got Saliba breathing down his neck. Saliba instantly regains possession and gives it to Dowman. This is the guy Arsenal fans want to see on the ball at the moment. Cuts in field, Bukayo Saka runs into McNeil. Now Eza picks it up. So many attack-minded players on the field at the moment for Arsenal. Nketiah tries to cross. It's blocked by James Garner. It comes back to Nketiah once again. Saka's made himself available. Nutmeg through the legs of Dwight McNeil, but it carries through all the way to Jordan Pickford, and it's still Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Back to Stamford Bridge, back to John Southall.
Still Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. Another Chelsea chance. Trevor Chalobah with a header at the back post wide. Anton Deck up in the stands and looking nervous. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
Thanks very much. 0-0 here.
The game's lengthened. It really has lengthened. Space is beginning to develop now. It does happen in most games, but we've just over 10 minutes to go, and obviously there's going to be a little bit of injury time added as well. But those gaps are beginning to open up, and that's why Dowman's looking so good here. Real disappointment for Arsenal. It's a great chance for Saka there. He dropped his shoulder, but his first touch to get it off for a shot wasn't good enough. 10
minutes of normal time to play. Is there a chance that league leaders Arsenal are going to drop points at home to Everton here? Everton, whose away form has been so good lately. 0-0 on 5 Live. William Saliba in possession. Can the league leaders find a way? Can they pick the lock here and prize their way into the lead? And you can imagine the mood. If Arsenal get a late winner here, their fans, as they leave the Emirates, will believe more than ever before that they're going to end this 22-year wait for the Premier League title. If it finishes as a draw, then some of the doubts will linger and creep and fester. And this is Gabriel in possession. Declan Rice gives it back to Nketiah. Left-hand side of the field as Arsenal come forward. He gives it now to Martinelli, who's yet to offer much impact since coming on. But here he comes. Right-footed cross, not good for Martinelli. It's not been his finest cameo, this, as that goes out for an Everton goal kick.
Yeah, but we know he scored some late goals in his time, but he's not let up the play so far. Get as much help as he possibly can. Everton get a player down inches, which is slightly surprising. There's not been any rolling about, wasting time that's happened by Everton. I think they just want to rest more than anything else, because that defence has worked incredibly hard back there. You have to say every single player, including Mikalenko, the player who's down just now, has put a serious shift in, but maybe no more than, if you look at that midfield, Gay and Eric Bunham, they have actually, what a shift they've put in, and they'll be more gutted than anyone else if they end up losing a late goal. But you need to keep it going for the 90 odd minutes.
Mikalenko's back up at his feet. He didn't need treatment. He doesn't have to leave the field. 0-0. Arsenal, who trailed until late in Germany on Wednesday, and they got that late penalty scored by Kai Havertz against his boyhood club Leverkusen. Can Arsenal get a late goal with the stakes even higher here now? Dewsbury Hall on the halfway line for Arsenal. There could still be a twist in the tail, and Everton, one moment of brilliance, they could be bringing 3 points back to Merseyside. Njai on the far side gives it to Mikalenko. And back into the heart of the defence to Jake O'Brien. This defensive effort today from David Moyes' team, all the more impressive when you consider there's no Branthwaite and there's no Tarkowski, who never misses a game, but he's not been able to take part today. Martinelli jumps. Garner behind him. Header goes straight to Irabunum. Garner on the right-hand side plays it forward, asking a lot of Tierno Barry here. And Gabriel is able to get there first, but his clearance puts it out of play for a throw into Everton, and one of the Everton backroom staff has just thrown one of those energy gels to Dwight McNeil, and he needs all of that he can get at the moment as they look for a big last surge in this game with time running out. 8 minutes of normal time to play 0-0.
I honestly think Everton will go for it, and they are playing more for players forward. They're not sitting back, they're not holding out, they're trying to break forward. It's a dangerous game, but they can afford to do it just now. Wouldn't be surprised to see Diblin coming on at some point.
Ilman Njai smuggles the ball to Kieran Dewsbury Hall, but Declan Rice tracked the run and made a perfect tackle on the edge of the penalty area to thwart what was a bit of danger there. Arsenal look to come over the halfway line. Mosquera, good ball to Nkapie. He's got Martinelli to his left-hand side. Here's Gabriel Martinelli into the penalty area. Ebeeze, can he get the shot away? Njai covering, it's Dowman, and he can't keep it down. 16-year-old Max Dowman, shooting opportunity, puts it over the top. What a chance that was.
Oh, and it fell to his left foot. That's exactly where he wants it. They played that very quickly. That's what he's been crying out for all the way through the game. Very quick, one-touch play, plays on to Dowman, and he does the right thing. You've got to go for that first time. Don't take a chance. That's a mistake that Arsenal have been making all the way through this game. He tries it, but he just gets underneath it. But really good play there, right position, half a chance. By the way, the most tense person in this stadium just now, Mikel Arteta. The jacket has come off.
The jacket is off, the gloves are off. It's such an exciting finish because Everton are going for it. The reason Arsenal had some space there was because Everton were trying so hard to attack down the other end. Free kick given to Arsenal.
Man City fans listening going, don't attack Everton, just sit back, a point's good for you.
I was just going to ask you that, Pat, and I know it's an impossible one to answer, but would Pep Guardiola think, no, hang on, I want you to win, I want Arsenal to lose here? It's a funny one, birds in the hand is worth two in the bush and all that.
To be fair, Man City fans before and after would accept, and so would Pep. Arsenal only taking 1 point out of this is a good result for Man City.
Remember, if Arsenal win here, if they win all their games, they can afford to lose the game at City next month and still be champions, no matter what else Pep Guardiola's team do. But that's only if they win all their games. And if they drop points here, the jeopardy door just squeezes a little. They will still absolutely be overwhelming favourites, Arsenal, for the title, but it won't be as firmly in their own hands as it currently is now, ever since City dropped the points against Forest, 10 days ago. Eze's in possession, 10 yards outside the penalty area that Arsenal attack. The clock ticks on, just over 5 minutes ago. Irabunum has done well. He's won the ball off Eze, and Eze fouls Irabunum, and it's a free kick to Everton, and the groans in the background of the Emirates, and we've reached the absolute squeaky bum time now, where every little error like that, and it was just a concentration error from Eze, but it feels like an absolute stomach punch.
And look what Everton are doing just now. They're making 2 changes, and really quite surprising ones at that as well. We shall see who is going to come off, but I did think he would go for it the last 5 or 10 minutes, David Moyes. I think they have done. They've got a lot of tired players out there, but we shall see if this makes a big difference for them.
Right, Irabunum, who's played really hard today in the midfield, is going to be replaced. On comes the German Merlin Roll. It's his first appearance since mid-January. And Harrison Armstrong, who has emerged very much as a young man who's earned David Moyes' trust in recent times. He has started 6 of Everton's last 9 Premier League games. Harrison Armstrong comes on. So who was it, Pat? Irabunum, and who was the other player who went to? It's McNeil.
Yeah.
Right, McNeil. So,
I've seen quite a bit of Armstrong recently. Very, very special player. Not lacking in confidence in any way whatsoever. He is young, but he's got a real good balance about him, and a real special player for Everton. He's got a great future for the club.
Yeah, David Moyes has seen Mikel Arteta, his protege, bring on young Max Dowman, so he's decided to bring on a teenager of his own, and Harrison Armstrong, as Dowman is out-muscled here, but fouled by Mikalenko. Free kick to Arsenal on the halfway line. Dowman has made a great impact. He really has since coming on.
It's one of those ones where you think, could you have brought him on a bit earlier? It could have made a difference. He's certainly not had as much time as on the left-hand side there as Martinelli, but he's had much bigger impact.
Well, the impact he's made here, I think we might be seeing him a bit earlier in the forthcoming games. The way things are, Arsenal, whose next 3 games are all in different cup competitions. They host Leverkusen here on Tuesday. They attack down the left-hand side. Martinelli sends in the cross, hits Saka. It was around about his shoulder area. Everton were appealing that it was a handball. Anyway, it has been cleared away, and then there's a foul and roll by Eze, and that's a free kick to Everton. And these little stop-start moments with a succession and flurry of free kicks is now frustrating Arsenal, with this game still 0-0 and just 3 minutes of normal time remaining.
Well, big frustration there, because that's the first time Martinelli's got away, and I would also say that's Garner's first mistake of the game so far, playing it right back. What a job he's done there. He's kept all the players against him very, very quiet, playing slightly out of position, However, he got himself under the ball there, but Martinelli couldn't find Saka.
This feels big, this feels significant. There was such a moment when City dropped points against Forest, but if Arsenal drop points here against Everton, it just balances that out. They'll be back to the way they were before City had dropped points. Now, that said, they'll have played 2 games more, so Arsenal can see the finish line a bit clearer now, but City, the door of opportunity could be reopening for them if Arsenal drop the points here. Raya has it on the edge of his own penalty area, and he's taking a little bit longer than Arsenal fans wanted there. And for the first time today, you got that sense where the Arsenal fans are not just cheering on their team, they're really urging them to come on, get on with it. Gabriel on the edge of his area, gives it to Raya. Tierno Barry sprinted in, nearly got it off the Arsenal goalkeeper. Arsenal need to get rid here, and Gabriel does put a big boot on that, and it's controlled on the halfway line by Mosquera, and now Everton have got to get back. The exciting Max Dowman tries to take on Mikalenko. Good challenge from the fullback. Ball goes out of play for an Arsenal throw, and there's absolutely no time to waste. Throw in is taken quickly to Max Dowman. Here's the delivery. Pickford jumps and he's missed it. It must be for Gyökeres. Victor Gyökeres scores for Arsenal in the 89th minute. Feel the relief in North London as the Emirates Stadium explodes. It's a massive, massive goal. It's a tap-in for Gyökeres, and it was all created by the delivery into the penalty area of this 16-year-old wonder kid, Max Dowman. Arsenal 1, Everton 0. Has Mikel Arteta won it at the death?
Well, you make big decisions as a manager, and the big decision to take the kid in has changed this entire game. All the Arsenal fans have gone, Arsenal players have gone over to him. He's put in such a dangerous ball there. Pickford's come for it, and he doesn't get it. Now, there is a possible suspicion of handball at the back post here. I don't think it is. I think it's off his chest, and the referee agrees.
The goal is confirmed by the video assistant referee after an agonising few seconds of a wait there. 6 minutes of stoppages to be added on. Arsenal have got their much sought after breakthrough, and it's Victor Gyökeres, his 6th goal in his last 8 Premier League games now. That is absolutely priceless. That is a goal that money can't buy.
Do you know the big thing about that is the reason why it happens? Yes, Dowman does it, but there's space. And why is there space? Everton, for the first time in the game, high pressed the goalkeeper. By doing that with 4 players, and Raya didn't want to hit it long. He didn't want to thump it long. He wanted to play it out from the back. He wanted to take a chance. And for all the times that all the fans hate that, taking risks, you keep the ball. It worked. It worked with bells on, because they played it out, they kept possession, they got it to Dowman, and they got the goal from that.
You've nailed it there, Pat. I mean, it was almost the rope it up from Arsenal. Yeah. Draw Everton in. A little bit of, loose passes on the edge of their own penalty. We thought at one moment that Tierno Barry was going to get it off Raya, but that just emboldened Everton to just step up a few steps, thinking, hang on, we've got them penned in here. And maybe it was the sucker punch that was planned all along, as Arsenal immediately launched it down the other end.
I said it 10 minutes ago, David Moyes will go for this. He'll bring on players and he'll try and push up and try and win it in the last 5 or 10 minutes. That's not the players working off their own minds. That is the manager saying, let's go for it, we can afford to lose. And Man City fans, I was saying, they don't want Everton to attack. Well, that's why they didn't want them to attack, because Arsenal managed to use it.
It's now 11 Premier League goals this season for Victor Gyökeres. Arsenal, who, it's been a long time since they've had a centre forward, score, get up towards 20 goals. I mean, it's a lot. You've got to go back to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for the last time someone got 20 Premier League goals for Arsenal. But if Gyökeres can keep going, get up to maybe 15, 16, 17 goals, that could be the difference from what they haven't had in recent seasons and the near misses for the Premier League. Sometimes in football you just need a tap-in merchant, and that's what he did there. Here comes Saka though. Arsenal looking to build on the lead. Dowman to the byline on the right hand side. He's got such confidence as he just stands motionless over the ball, waits for the defender to draw in, gives it to Saka. Martinelli shoots, and Pickford has to push it over. Corner to Arsenal in stoppage time. They're still playing as well.
across London at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Newcastle. Here's John Southall.
Newcastle still lead by that goal to nil. Is this Chelsea's last chance? Was it their last chance? Reece James 25 yards out with the free kick off the post. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
Earlier today, Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0, Sunderland 0, Brighton 1. It's 1-0 to Arsenal here. It's 1-0 to Newcastle there at Stamford Bridge. West Ham against Manchester City kicks off in about 35 minutes time, and it's a corner to Arsenal here amid delirium at the Emirates. They were worried that today was going to be dropped points, and Arsenal fans are celebrating like never before now as they're on the cusp of another valuable 3 points.
And it's so easy for them now. Everything was tense before, every pass was a worry, and look at them now. Yeah, take it easy, enjoy it, stand on the ball, maybe create another couple of chances and score a goal, but they cannot take their foot off the gas here. Everton are still dangerous.
Pickford clears it long up towards Turner Barry. He wins a flick on, but there's no one to flick it on to, and the ball rolls back to David Raya, who goes dribbling with it over to the right hand side, trying to eat up a few more seconds before Barry can get across to him, and then David Raya bends down and he picks up the ball, and we've almost played 4 minutes now of the 6 that were due to be added on. If you're joining our coverage late here, Arsenal have been put through the ringer today. Everton have played well. They hit the woodwork in the first half. Brilliant shot by Dwight McNeil. That might have given this whole afternoon a very different narrative at the Emirates, but Arsenal have believed in the process. They have stuck to the task. They have added the little X factor, which is 16-year-old Max Dowman, and you combine all that, and Mikel Arteta has got his team on the verge of beating Everton here with only a couple of minutes to go. Another late change for the visitors. Tyreek George on loan from Chelsea comes on. Surely too little too late, but you never know this crazy season of late goals in the Premier League. Could Everton get an equaliser? Free kick on the halfway line is taken by Pickford. Michael Keane is forward, beaten in the air by Gabriel, and a big old-fashioned up and under by Ebe Eze to clear, to put pressure on Mikalenko, who's going to roll it all the way back to Pickford again. And Everton are back inside their own penalty area. Pickford's clearance up to the halfway line picks out Iliman Ndiaye, and we've got 1 minute of the 6 of stoppages left to go. That famous scoreline, if you're an Arsenal fan, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Is it going to be enough today as Garner plays it forward to Everton? Saliba wins a header inside the penalty area. Merlin Roll prods it back into the box. Tyreek George tried to turn. Michael Keane has stayed up like a centre forward. Keane tries to shoot, and the shot is blocked by a defender. Still alive here for Jacob Bryan on the right hand side until Nkapie slides in with a perfect slide tackle and puts the ball out of play for an Everton throw in. But David Moyes' team remain on the attack.
And they remain on the attack, and their 2 centre backs are both playing centre forward just now. It's extraordinary. They're going for it. I'm just surprised Pickford isn't coming up for this long throw just now. I know he wants to.
He's given the look towards the dugout. He's not been given permission. Here comes the throw in by Jacob Bryan. Everton turn a throw in into a corner kick, and now he is coming forward. Jordan Pickford, on his 350th appearance for Everton, is making his way into the penalty area to give it everything. Everton are ready to throw the kitchen sink here at a last gasp attempt to spoil Arsenal's day.
Oh, anything could happen here because Pickford is such an incredible character, but he's got a good bit of power in there as well. It's all about the delivery now.
No one in goal for Everton. Corner kick, James Schuyler to take on the right hand side. Arsenal leading 1-0 on 5 line. Gyökeres wins the header. It's then Martinelli trying to clear it away. Oh, this is going to be trouble. Dowman on the counter-attack is going to run it in. He can savour these moments. He can enjoy it. His first ever Arsenal goal wins the game for sure. As Arsenal say to Manchester City, catch us if you can. It's Arsenal 2, Everton 0. It's all over now.
What an extraordinary end to this game. The relief from those Arsenal fans is incredible. The goalkeeper goes up. How often does a goalkeeper go up and they don't score from the breakaway? But Dowman, he is so calm. He doesn't panic. He doesn't smash it from wide. He beats the last player and then runs the rest of the game, almost like a rugby player with the ball. And he just runs it into the goal. What a difference that young man has made to not only this game, but maybe Arsenal's entire season.
It's a moment he'll never forget his entire life. He picked it up inside his own half. He's still had a defender to beat, but he's so confident. He just dropped the shoulder, was able to glide past, and then it's just a victory run to the line. He ran so nonchalantly into the penalty area to tap it into the unguarded net. This is a moment. People in decades' time will remember this. The day Max Dowman scored his first ever Arsenal goal to put Mikel Arteta's team 10 points clear at the top of the Premier League, ahead of Manchester City's game later.
It does feel like one of those moments when you beforehand if somehow they could get a win, but you just feel it around here, don't you? You really do. And it's going to get blown up right now.
The full-time whistle blows, and that roar from the Arsenal fans tells you like never before that they believe this is going to be their year. They are not going to let it slip this time. Boy, they had to dig deep to win this. It was a fight to the very end. Everton gave it everything, but 2 extremely late goals see Arsenal win the day, and Pep Guardiola's Manchester City are now under pressure like never before in their pursuit of what increasingly are looking like a champions-elect Arsenal. Mikel Arteta beats his former club, Arsenal 2, Everton 0. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, I mean, with 3 minutes to go, not only the game, but the entire season had jitters written all over it. But at the end of it now, just a few minutes later, utter and complete transformation. And it is that thing that people were questioning Arsenal about, creativity. Is it there anymore? Are you using it enough? There isn't even the sniff of a goal for a free kick or a corner kick or a long throw today. It's about the creativity, particularly of Diamond. He created the first ball by putting the ball in from the left-hand side. He changed the game when he comes on. It was opening up anyway. But that's going to hide the fact that last moment there, when he runs the length of the pitch, is absolutely phenomenal. And as you say, that will be remembered for many, many years to go.
16 years, 73 days, the youngest Premier League goal scorer, Max Dowman, creates a moment. You know, this week, Manchester United are playing Aston Villa. It's memories of the old Federico Makeda. It's going to be one of those iconic things that people will say, do you remember that? Do you remember when Dowman scored the goal? And Arsenal fans hoping that it's a goal that edges them closer. Now, sometimes, Pat, Arsenal get criticism from other teams that they over-celebrate at times. They are going to make no apologies for celebrating this win as the players set off on a lap of honour.
And you know, for a number of reasons, it's a big result. They showed the personality they've got, the perseverance that they've got. But you know what they're also doing just now? This is not self-indulgent. This is walking around to those fans and saying, thank you. You stuck by it. You kept the noise going. You lifted them when you needed to be lifted. These Arsenal fans have done that this season brilliantly. And it is, they're lapping it up and they're soaking it up, these Arsenal players. But they're saying thank you so much to their fans who lifted them when they needed it. And by the way, that moment, if you match the day tonight, do not miss it for that moment. Really do not miss it, because you have to wait for him to keep on running and keep on running and keep on running. And it builds and builds and builds until he taps it into the net. It's a beautiful moment of football.
All the talk this week, are Arsenal boring? They can't score from open play. Both goals today from open play, Gyökeres and Dowman. And after the late drama in Leverkusen when Kai Havertz was able to salvage a draw in midweek, what a week this is proving to be for Arsenal. The 2 late goals to win it today.